Hey, so this is from Howl by Ginsberg. Who jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge? This actually happened and walked away unknown and forgotten into the ghostly days of Chinatown soup alleyways and fire trucks, not even one free beer. Who sang out of their windows in despair, fell out of the subway window, jumped in the filthy Passaic, leaped on Negroes, cried all over the street, danced on broken wine glasses barefoot, smashed phonograph records of nostalgic European 1930s German jazz, finished the whiskey and threw up groaning into the bloody toilet, moans in their ears and the blast of colossal steam whistles. Who barreled down the highways of the past, journeying to each other's hot rod Golgotha Jail Solitude Watch or Birmingham Jazz Incarnation. Who drove cross country 72 hours to find out if I had a vision, or you had a vision, or he had a vision to find out eternity. Who journeyed to Denver, who died in Denver, who came back to Denver and waited in vain, who watched over Denver and brooded and loaned in Denver and finally went away to find out the time, and now Denver is lonesome for her heroes.
This is a story about destruction. About a world burned and burned again, burned over. This is a story about the death of a world that died so long ago there are none now who remember it. We took refuge here, in Convergence Valley. In this isolated place, we could be saved from the devastation that fell outside, and as the world burned, we hid away here, among the peaks. Beside the slope of Do Not Go There, at the end of the world, in the vast, barren expanse of the flats, yes, at the mouth of the river that is her mouth. It was a strange and hostile place, but in a world gone mad, it was home. And we survived. And maybe, for a time, we thrived. And then the unthinkable happened. Shoots through the ashes. Little by little, the world once burned over, it began to heal. Green shoots returned to the flats. The winds that cut us off from the outside world were becalmed, caught in the doldrums of something else, something waiting. And Convergence Valley was no longer a place of refuge, but a prison. Or was it something else? This is a story about what happens when a nation falls. This is a story about what happens when everything we took for granted is upended and destroyed. This is a story about a shelter torn asunder by the forces of human lives and human will. This is a story about that most destructive thing of all. This is a story about hope. Welcome to Convergence Valley, or what's left of it. Welcome back to Desperate Attune, and another episode of our Game of Apocalypse World Burned Over. And we are in the middle of things. When last we left off, we were having 3 of our 4 main characters standing outside a burning train station in full view of everyone on the train that was meant to stop here for business, stopped here to do said business, and then said business resulted in the train station burning down. Because it turns out the merchant Revolver Pinata was present, walked inside. Some amount of misunderstandings ensued, at the end of which Tar-Minotaur was looking for an excuse to kill this motherfucker, and Revolver Pinata bumped into...
Death.
Death, yes, but also bumped into Perfidelity on his way down to the basement. The more serious crime in all this was the discovery that Revolver Pinata's been paying people to breed monsters so that they can be killed and hauled back as trophies to Ashurdan, local folk hero and legend. And, well, this is all rather tarnishing Ashurdan's otherwise spotless reputation, which I don't think is otherwise so spotless. And I think that roughly sums up last session. A couple of people were injured. There was a lot of chaos, a lot of fire. The 2 of Lady Iskandaric's people are injured. Egocentric, who got injured 2 sessions ago, or a little whiler ago. And the Thick as a Brick, who got injured by having Tar-Minotaur fall on him. And other than that, we saw Perfidelity bond a little further with the rail mall and the train. And we also saw some of the strange temporal things that the rail mall is capable of, such as planning ahead whether or not it will have a driver. The train, it seems, can sort of time travel, or at least go about things in a very interesting non-temporal matter. And there we are. I forgot to introduce myself, but hopefully you know me at this point. I'm Holly, the host, and the 3 people playing today are Zoheb.
Hello, Holius Maximus.
Salty.
Hello, Holly Minimus.
And Aadiyat.
Hello, Holitrix. I couldn't think of a good one. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Tricks are for grids.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for saving it.
Okay. Yeah. Saved. Smoothly done. Yeah. Here we are. We shall jump right into it, I think, continuing on the same note, but the game does tell us to do some beginning of session moves, even though, from the point of view of the characters, no time at all has passed since last session. But none the so forth less. Perfidelity, would you like to begin?
Yes, I shall. So, I also have a beginning of session move, as most people will probably know by now, called Ear to the Ground. So I roll this before I roll Living Day to Day.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I should have said what I wanted. I want to check in again on Do Not Go There. And that was a 10+.
Mm-hmm. And what happens on a 10+?
So I can pick either there's a great opportunity for me there, or there's one from the 7 to 9 list below. And you know what? I rolled 7 to 9 last time. I'm going to go for the 10+. There's great opportunity for me there. What is it?
The great opportunity for you at Do Not Go There. Okay. Let me take a quick look at the Kumu board, because I remember we have some things linked to it. We have a board where we have been diligently tracking all of our things.
It looks like conspiracy theorists,
It does.
I'll clean it up at some point.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think the great opportunity for you, Perfidelity, I don't know, this is the only thing that I think that makes sense. You can't even normally go there. It's called Do Not Go There. It's a very difficult place to access at all, but it might be an interesting place from a research perspective. So I think that the great opportunity is for you to find a way there. And since this is beginning of session, let's have that happen immediately. So as you come out from the burning building at the rail mall, you notice an overgrown side track that the rail mall has never traveled that points off
in some direction. But where perhaps there are signs. Yes, the rail mall does not go there, but there is one of those like old hand cranked carts. What are they called? One of those like where people can move a little cart up and down the rails.
Minecarts.
Yeah. So there's one of those parked on that little trail, and that one appears to have been used. And these monster breeders apparently knew something about a secret route to a place where there are monsters. And it's this little rail. Is that opportunity sufficient for you?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Then go ahead and live day to day.
Fantastic. What are the resources that we're living day to day for?
Today we are living day to day for a couple of things. We are living day to day for drugs, luxury goods, and consensus.
Every day I live for drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And luxury goods.
And consensus.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a 7. Something is easy and something is hard.
Yes. So I will tell you. I think I will tell you straightforwardly. The drugs are easy and consensus is hard.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Okay. That is that. Beginning of session move. Let's do Lady Iskandaric next.
Hello. Oh, I don't have any beginning of session moves. Just got some
Living day to day.
living to do, and I'm living with how much partner am I living with?
Live in La Vida Locomotive.
Yes.
Live, laugh,
Thank you.
love.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Live in La Vida Locomotive is brilliant in this situation.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm living it up with the 14.
Okay.
Mm.
So something is free and something is easy.
All
right. I think luxury goods will be easy on your end.
Okay.
And what will be free? I think let's go with consensus being free on your end.
Interesting. Consensus is free and luxury goods are easy.
Yeah.
All right.
And Tar-Minotaur. How does your session begin? With an 8.
With an 8.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting. Consensus is hard for everyone except Iskandaric, so I'm going to say consensus is hard for you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm interested in it, I'll also say luxury goods are easy for you.
Nice.
I think it's interesting that Perfidelity is the person with access/interest in the drugs. Like, these categories may overlap, but I'm framing it as for Perfidelity, the drugs are easy, and for the two of you, it is luxury goods. All right. With that established, I think we'll go to the establishing shot, which depicts you in front of the burning train station, dragging out thick as a brick. And my question for Iskandaric, first of all, is while you were having this conversation and going down into the basement, you had a man on the brink of death, egocentric. I think that he is probably dead by now, but where did you keep him throughout all of this? Like, you had a man bleeding out while all of this was going on. Where was he? Was he inside the building? Was he somewhere else?
I think we said that he got stretchered off the field.
Yeah.
Probably in the rail mall, like in one of the cars.
Okay.
Or next to it, yeah.
The thing is, you hid from the rail mall, so you never had time to put him on the rail mall. You hid inside the building to see what was going on.
When I think, if I remember correctly, when we were conspiring to stab what's his face, Revolver Pinata in the back, and and we left the building, so we were like, yeah, just pressure him off somewhere.
All right,
it's fine. He can die.
Yeah. But you also have an injured Thick as a Brick. We will revisit this, I suppose. But then, at the moment, Egocentric, whether dead or alive, is loaded onto the train, probably. And so, yeah, you are one person short. You have an injured person being carried out of the building, and by you and your gang. And what we see is everyone on the rail mall, the engineers and the passengers, kind of hanging off the side and watching the strange spectacle that has just unfolded.
Yes.
And I think the eyes are drawn in this case to Tar-Minotaur being the authority figure around. I think Kid Gloves is pointedly not watching this. Kid Gloves, the actual leader of the train, is out of view at the moment. But these engineers that helped you onto the train, they kind of look at Tar-Minotaur expectantly as if for an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you intend to give them one, but they are not sure what is happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's
They're not even sure. Sorry?
Right. It's all finished now, yeah?
The people in the basement are dead and their mall is on fire. I mean, it's probably the fire isn't out. It's still actively on fire. These things last for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think Tar-Minotaur, I think I'm probably helping Perfidelity up and out, right? Because Perfidelity was also involved. I think, if I remember correctly, Perfidelity had already exited the basement when we were still shooting people and finishing them off. Or am I misremembering? I'm trying to remember the exact sequence of events.
Yeah, I think Perfidelity was trying to rescue Thick as a Brick.
Right. So I think if the Perfidelity is doing that, maybe I'm helping Perfidelity do that, or perhaps we have already kind of gotten Thick as a Brick more or less out there, and then I think, singed, coat smelling of fire. I think Tar-Minotaur is going to walk up to the train and say, "We require medical assistance for some fallen warriors. The train must take them."
Okay, interesting. I wonder, is this a move?
Well, let's see. I mean, I don't know how they'll react, but I'm just speaking to them as an interface. Maybe then I have to talk to Kid Gloves.
Yeah,
but that's what I do.
I think, okay, here's what I will say. You may, if you want to read the situation to figure out what is passing between them, mainly the engineers, who are the people with the authority here. If you don't want to read them, then what will happen next is that they will simply fetch Kid Gloves, who is the authority figure.
No, let's see Kid Gloves. I think Tar-Minotaur would speak to Kid Gloves.
Yes. So
I make my wishes known. If they don't comply, I think I will just kind of irritatedly say, "Fetch your master."
No, they will indeed fetch Kid Gloves. They don't need to be told this. No one else wants responsibility for this. And Kid Gloves comes out looking quite stately, I think, having been freshly cleaned at Sikari's regret and all. Wearing the gloves, wearing their usual very neat suit. And looks on the carnage ahead and just says very disapprovingly, that is a scheduled stop.
Yeah, I think Tar-Minotaur has now sat down and has taken her helmet off and has unspooled the turban, which she wasn't wearing because that's fabric.
Yeah.
And is using it to dab her sweat from her head because it's hot under the armor anyway, and we were in a burning building.
Yeah.
I think kind of distractedly, probably I don't know, has asked someone for water. You can tell me if they didn't bring it to me. But if they did, I'd be drinking it. And then I'd probably...
one of the red demons would have to be it, because absolutely no one on the train is getting off the train. So that's the situation. The demons might. Anyone else who's already on the platform might, but no one on the train is setting foot on the platform other than Kid Gloves, who is the first person to actually step off it.
Oh, I'm imagining myself seated not on the train, but like on the steps. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So up on, fair enough. Then I think one of the engineers would have tossed you something. But people are in general avoiding getting close to you.
For sure. Yeah. And then I think I'll look up to Kid Gloves and say, "It is indeed a shame. It has been there for a long time, but it has been put to evil use. And this was the most efficacious manner of dispatching evil at a minimal loss of life."
Yeah, I think Kid Glove's lips kind of curls a little bit. And you feel free to also read Kid Gloves, by the way, if you would like to, but they flex their fingers, pull a little bit on the edge of the glove, and says, "Battles aside, which one of you is responsible for the property damage here? That station was owned by the railroad."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Tar-Minotaur has a little bit more water and says,
"Blame it on Pinata. He did it."
I think Tar-Minotaur would say, "I am the ranking officer on the field. I am responsible for all conduct of troops." And I'm going to read Kid Gloves in this moment to see how they respond to that.
Okay. You present yourself as the commanding officer being responsible for all battlefield conduct. You guys come from very different worlds, you and Kid Gloves.
Yes, but Kid Gloves knows my world, and I know Kid Gloves' world.
Yeah.
That's important. 7.
Okay. So you get 2 questions.
Okay. Real quick, let me have a look. What are you feeling? How can I tell?
Kid Gloves is feeling, frankly, they conceal it as irritation, but they are frankly feeling distressed. This is massive damage to railroad property isn't good, and this was a proper station. I mean, it wasn't a very frequently used station, and it was used for perhaps illicit business, but it's bad for business to lose entire stations. And what's played off as "I'm really irritated that you owe me one" is actually a mask for, oh, this is actually really bad.
Of course. And what are they hoping I will do about it? And how can I tell? I've taken responsibility. I've expressed that, I'm not saying get over it. It doesn't matter. I have acknowledged that it's a problem, and I'm willing to take responsibility.
Yeah. So I think Kid Gloves will frankly just say the second part, which is how you can tell. Yeah. And so Kid Gloves says, "Unless you want for there to be bad blood between us, I would have your people rebuild this." And that is a lot harder than burning it down. Like, you don't have any people. You can hardly do this alone. Like, basically, the context here is that Kid Gloves is framing this. This is almost a deliberate insult, because Kid Gloves is framing this as, you are a knight, you have troops and shit, you rally your troops and you build this back up. And Kid Gloves is well aware that you don't have troops, but is also going like, you can admit that in front of me and admit that you're not a knight with any sort of authority if you'd like. So if you see what I mean, it is a challenge at the same time as it is a straightforward request.
Yeah, I think I look up at Kid Gloves and I see what they're doing. And I look around at the people at the train operators, and I say, "These are subjects of the valley."
The people on the train? Yeah, I think Kid Gloves looks back and goes, "These are employees of the rail mall."
And subjects of the valley? That's a question.
That is an interesting question, actually. Have we established what the rail mall's relationship with the authorities were historically? Because we positioned the rail mall as having always been this kind of market force, considering itself outside of the...
So what I'd say is that the Knight Republic would consider everyone living within the valley to be subject to the valley.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what Kid Glove says. Kid Glove says, the Rail Mall's home station is not inside the valley and has never been. And throws back a technicality. Like, technically, I don't live here. I do all my business here, but technically, I don't live here, so...
Yeah, I think Tar-Minotaur nods patiently and says, but your people. To say that, of course, I get it. I'm not saying you're from the valley. I'm not saying the train's from the valley.
Yeah.
But people are born somewhere.
Yeah, Kid Gloves sort of dismissively says, like, many are. I don't know exactly which ones. I don't ask when they sign on.
Very well. And then I think Tar-Minotaur stands up and says, all assembled citizens of the valley are hereby drafted into service towards the good of the valley and also the also the Rail Mall under the authority of Tar-Minotaur Azdakush of Landstrakar of the Order of the Worm.
Okay.
Because here's how it is, right?
Uh-huh.
Kid Gloves has given me an impossible order that Kid Gloves knows is impossible. I'm going to respond to an impossible demand with an impossible demand with my own impossible demand.
Yeah. Okay. So this is you guys are circling each other. As this order is issued, let us pivot over to Lady Iskandaric, because your gang is an unusual amount of consensus right now. They all agree with each other and with you, and I will give you the freedom to say this. Does your gang consider what Tar-Minotaur is doing utter bullshit?
It is. Like, sorry, in what sense? I mean...
Yeah, like... so when Tar-Minotaur goes, like, all residents of the valley have been drafted under my command, what does your gang actually think about that? Do they go like, yeah, we should probably help out here? Or do they go like, whatever, this doesn't concern us? Or...
I think... Well, sir, this is actually a hard decision. I think Iskandaric, by default, would be like, it's her gang versus the world, right? We don't want to get... but she has just somewhat successfully coordinated with Tar-Minotaur here.
Yeah.
The coordinated isn't exactly the right word, because, she was like, hey, just let me do my, let me handle this. Don't make this a thing now. Tar-Minotaur did not listen. And, it's should be a quid pro quo relationship. So
for what it's worth, Tar-Minotaur doesn't actually care about the station being rebuilt. I'm just responding to Kid Gloves in the manner in which Kid Gloves is responding to me.
I'm well aware, but how the
I think right now, considering that I've got an injured man and I'm like it's kind of all that interested in helping Tar-Minotaur out at the moment.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna be like, no, we're not drafting though.
Okay,
we're doing the drafting.
Yeah. So because the reason I ask is I think the Red Demons are the people who could tip this either way. I think if the heavily armed people on the platform were like, yeah, all right, we're gonna consider what Tar-Minotaur says an order, then maybe people would listen. But as it is, people see the Red Demons just ignoring you, and so consequently the people on the train just ignore you. Unless you want to make a roll, it's possible that you could possibly do like a reason or something, but
no,
I don't think that you can just draft people. Yeah. So I think people don't take this seriously. Kid Gloves looks around, and I think Kid Gloves just says like, well, yeah, okay, Kid Gloves keeps playing this game, I think. So even as no one visibly reacts, Kid Gloves acts as if maybe you have some people in the back that did, and goes, very good, thank you. I will consider the debt settled when it is done. And sort of gives you an out, right? Of like, yes, you have given the order. All right, we'll, I'll forgive you, but also like, you actually have to do this though.
Yeah.
I don't care if you do it yourself, brick by brick. I will give you the honor of leaving so that you can do it yourself, brick by brick, when no one's looking if you want, but I expect it to be done. That's
Mhm.
the energy.
I think Tar-Minotaur says, I shall put the full resources of my people towards this act to right the wrong. Which is entirely what I'm doing right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I will say, it is gracious of you to accept. And now they are dead to consider. And
Yeah.
wounded.
Uh-huh. So, Kid Gloves is unfortunately an absolutely ruthless capitalist by religion. And so, Iskandaric, the situation for you is that you don't have a ticket. You're going to have to buy tickets for your crew. Now, I think you can do that because you have high enough barter. But like, they're not letting you on the train without paying. So there will be like a ticket taker asking you for some barter. And so, assuming that you don't go like, no, fuck you, which you might, there is a move for paying your way for something, and I would like to see that moved. So you can just roll with barter to see how basically how well you're able to buy your way onto the train.
Dropping some jingle.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to help
But
you with
before-
that, actually, if I may.
Sure, but yeah. But before we do that, is Thick as a Brick been stabilized? What are we doing about him?
Yeah. So Thick as a Brick wasn't as seriously injured as the guy who got clawed by a giant mole rat. Thick as a
Yeah.
Brick just has a couple of I think his situation is he has a couple of like broken ribs, which is pretty bad. Like you can die of that, but he doesn't have a punctured lung. He's not dying like immediately. He's just very hurt.
Okay.
So his situation is he's very injured, but he is probably stable. I think that makes sense.
Hmm. I don't want. I mean, look, it's kind of this thing is never show weakness, never
Mhm.
compromise. Paying to be on this train?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Hmm.
I think Sarah's going to do the kind of thing is, like where she goes in payment, you get to keep all your teeth. How about that?
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds like a threat. That sounds like
Yeah.
the threaten someone move.
It does sound like a threat to someone move.
I'm helping you either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
My help is simply I have asked for you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Roll your
That's-
help move
that's-
first,
okay.
and then we'll see about rolling aggro.
What were you saying, Aadiyat?
What I was gonna say is threaten someone is aggro.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, I have
cool.
-1 to aggro, so the help will be useful.
Nice.
Mhm.
Iskandaric gets +2. Let's see. Do we compromise? Ooh! 12.
Nice.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
12 plus. Choose a benefit with the MC.
Mhm.
+1? Or what? Just +1 to the roll?
Yep.
Or something else?
Asking one more question or adding an option doesn't really make any sense. Adding
No.
harm might, but yeah, +1 to the roll I think is reasonable.
Okay.
So
That takes
let's
me
see
up
this roll and
to
then pivot back to Perfidelity.
+0.
Yep.
It's a 7.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9, if they don't want to obey or defy you, they can try to stall, make excuses, or pass the buck, but in return you take +1 forward against them. On a miss, be prepared for the worst. So, Perfidelity. As this has been happening, as thick as a brick with the wounded ribs is being dragged along, as there is this standoff, where are you and what have you been doing?
So we've had Tar-Minotaur sitting down, kind of dabbing the sweat off of her brow, and then talking to Kid Gloves. We've got, and then in the background, Lady Iskandaric
Mm-hmm.
trying to muscle her way on to the Royal Mall. I think that after assuring herself that Thick as a Brick is all right, Tar-Minotaur is her master. She's well, I don't think Tar-Minotaur was taking off her own armor and her own helmet. She's by Tar-Minotaur's side.
Nice.
Okay, so you're sitting there, backing up Tar-Minotaur, who's sitting on the steps, and then Iskandaric issues this threat to someone on the stairs. Do you, at any, like, as you see this altercation, do you in any way intervene in it, or do you just go like, let them do what they do?
Well, I think that I want to ask then, how is Tar-Minotaur backing this play? Because if my master's outwardly backing this play, I can't go against that. But
For me,
I think either
Yes,
way, my character has put a hand on the demolition hammer at her side.
Yeah, my back in the play was literally what I said. Like, there's wounded and dead to take care of. So, and then I kind of like passed the spotlight over to Iskandaric. But that was essentially backing that play. Whatever Iskandaric wants next is under my auspices. So that's it. No further narration.
Yeah. All right. So you make it clear that your payment is you get to keep all your teeth. And what happens here is that the person you're talking to, who's just a minor functionary, looks over to Kid Gloves. And Kid Gloves, Kid Gloves heads, like, silently nods and then heads into the train. And the conductor person goes like, okay, wounded, and moves out of the way. And they are stalling for time. That is what's going on. And what is going to happen, Iskandaric, is you have wounded. So Egocentric, who is possibly dead, has been loaded onto the train already. Thick as a Brick is being helped up on the train. And then you yourself are like about to climb up on it when the train just starts to move.
Ooh.
Like, they just step on it and they aim to leave the rest of your gang behind. Like, fine, we can extend some amount of charity, but also we are a train. We can just outrun you. So...
Are we on the train? Perfidelity and I, do you think?
Well, it's a train, so it doesn't start with like a sudden vroom. It starts to move. You were sitting on the steps, so you can hop on it, and no one is paying particular attention to you at the moment.
Yeah, we already bought tickets.
Yeah. We were already on the train, coordinating and so on. I think it makes sense that we were on the train.
Yeah, you're Gucci. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I've never said you're Gucci before. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah. So situation is, Iskandaric, you can get on the train if you want, or you can stay behind with the rest of your gang, but all of your gang can't possibly get on the train unless they like
are on the
climb
train, right?
onto it moving. Yeah, they are.
The wounded are on the train. This is interesting. I think I can trust Tar-Minotaur and especially Perfidelity, to look after Thick as a Brick on this train. In some ways, this is kind of what I wanted, to get my wounded onto the train and the rest of the gang to continue what they were doing.
Yeah. The downside of this, of course, is that you will be split off from your wounded people and Tar-Minotaur and Perfidelity, and maybe not have a chance to see them again for some time, because, this train is way faster than anything else in the valley once it gets up to speed.
I think the interesting decision is to just say that, oh no, the train's going away. Well, there's no hope of catching this train, and Tar-Minotaur and Perfidelity, I trust them. We're allies now. They'll look at the way wounded. It's fine.
So as the train starts to move, you basically just hop back on the platform and go like, all right then, and then play it like I got what I wanted. That's fine.
I don't know. I think, more than character would be something like going like, shit, and then telling Perfidelity and Tar-Minotaur like, look after these two, yeah? And, then the non-wounded can hop off and join with the rest.
So what I'm unclear about, I guess, is that, you are getting off the train yourself. You are... Yeah. Okay.
All of the people who are not wounded are on the platform. The people who are wounded, I'm entrusting to my friends.
Very good. So, what is going to happen here? And I will tell you this out of character because I think this is something the Tar-Minotaur and Perfidelity know.
Okay.
Kid Gloves is hardcore about tickets. The wounded people have been loaded onto the train. They don't have tickets, so they count as cargo. This may have consequences for them also, but again, you trust Tar-Minotaur and Perfidelity to deal with the situation.
I trust Tar-Minotaur and Perfidelity to deal with the
Okay.
situation.
Then let's stay on Iskandaric for a moment. So you see the train disappear, carrying your wounded with the train station burned down behind you, and I guess you're sort of in the position in which you arrived, which was trying to ambush a caravan. You're down 2 people, you've burned down a building, and you're a little delayed, but otherwise.
Yeah.
So
otherwise all's good. Okay. So I think we've got time to like if this shipment that Revolver Pinata was going to pick up, since Revolver Pinata's out of the equation, I think we've got more time to intercept it, right?
Yeah.
I think what the gang needs to do is regroup and plan what's going on. I think it's kind of very much like a sports team tells them to huddle up.
Yeah.
All right, everyone to me. Yeah,
everyone huddles up on station.
Yeah. And she goes, right, so, well, and she just opens with, well, no plan survives first contact with the enemy, right? But that said, things haven't gone too badly. We know the shipment is still waiting for us. We got our two boys out injured, possibly for the rest of the season, the campaigning season.
Of course.
But there's still a good team here. That said, I want to talk to you about some things I've been noticing about following the plan. Yeah?
Yeah, they all nod. They look at you expectantly.
It seems some of us here have been maybe putting their personal issues ahead of the team. And this is the kind of management thing where you don't name the person, but they know who they are. Yeah. That stops today. When we're on a mission together, we stay together, right? We don't wander off into the woods. We don't say things like, oh, actually, we can't kill him now. He owes me money. Right?
Yeah.
And I want you to think about...
Cartometric is the one being called out now, and I think he nods. He goes along with it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no one's been called out by name.
Yeah.
It's just examples.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she says, I want you to think about 2 people today. Right? The first person I wanted you to think about is your former lieutenant. Now, he broke ranks. Right? We had a plan, and before anything even went wrong, he turned tail and ran. Luka Modric is now dead, right?
Yeah.
The other person I want you to think about is thick as a brick. Now, this guy, burning building didn't matter. It was for the good of the team, and he jumped into a hole surrounded by a nest of pikes, and I made sure that he gets on a train and he gets the medical attention that he needs. So I want you to think about that going forward.
Yeah, I think they definitely get the message. There's a lot of nodding going around. Some people thinking this is reasonable.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of agreement.
Yeah, and I think the speech will be concluded with, listen, we don't know which one of us is going to live to see tomorrow, right? But it doesn't matter. We're not here to, right? So little things like trinkets and money, like jackets, whatever it is. That stuff doesn't last. But the name, the Red Demons, is gonna be etched into history. And you will live with that name.
Yeah. Yeah. They get pumped. There's, I think they shout out the name, the Red Demons, like over the burning building next to them that's now like down to smoldering embers.
Yes, hype.
Yeah. They build up the hype, they roar out the name, the building's burning down, and I guess you're quite near it makes sense to me that, well, it was established that this is near the river crossing where the attack is. So they start to get ready for like the next step of the plan. They know that they're close to the goal. And yeah, they absolutely join up behind you. I don't think you need a move here. Your beginning of session move told you that this is simply free. There is consensus about this. There is broad consensus. We move along with the plan. The injured will be taken care of, and we don't break ranks this time.
Yeah. All right. This is the team ethos, and that's it. All right, cool. All right, I mean, let's go. Let's roll up.
Yeah. All right.
Vroom,
So you
vroom.
roll up and move up,
Hmm.
and let's see how Tar-Minotaur and Perfidelity are doing on the train that's speeding away before we cut back to the confrontation, because I think it would be interesting to see Tar-Minotaur and Perfidelity have some time to talk, which they haven't much had before. So I'm imagining you guys as like Tar-Minotaur isn't in the good graces of Kid Gloves at the moment, so there's no people won't exactly stop you, I suppose, but there's also no invitation for you to come further up the train. So where I'm imagining you are is like, on one of the semi-outside trains, right? Like sitting on an empty cargo wagon or something like that.
With the casualties.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Is Salty back? Let's check on that first. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Just would be cool. Yeah. So when I first boarded the train, there was a discussion about having dinner with Kid Gloves. I'm not going to press on this now because I think Tar-Minotaur is not a social idiot, right?
Yeah.
I'm owed that dinner, but I think under the circumstances it's fine, and I would only press on it if I wanted to start a fight with Kid Gloves, which I don't.
Yeah, because Kid Gloves is also like, you may be owed the dinner, I'm owed a station house.
Yes.
So...
we are not on good terms. It's fine. This
No.
is better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm sitting there watching. Perfidelity, are you taking care of the casualties? Are you looking after them?
Okay, so we have, well, they're cargo. Are we in the cargo bay? Because I think if we're in the cargo bay, then yes. But if we're in the passenger bay, then I imagine people probably aren't allowed in the cargo bays unless they're staff. To prevent stealing.
Yeah. So I think the situation now is somewhat awkward, where you're basically being ignored by the train staff. So you can kind of go wherever you like, but you're not welcomed anywhere. It's kind of this awkward twilight thing. So you can be in the cargo area if you want, if you get on with the... Because like I said, I think this is an otherwise empty cargo cart. So it just has the casualties loaded onto it. It was meant, obviously, for the stuff that was supposed to be picked up from here. So there's nothing in it at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense to me.
So you can be in it because there's nothing but the casualties that you sort of came on board alongside. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so I think then, because drugs are easy for me, what do I have access to? So I assume I don't have anything like an Angel's Kit or anything, but I think that's what Perfidelity is doing, administering drugs to... Oh, because I have a workspace that is chems. I can make basic stuff.
Yeah.
It's mostly estrogen and testosterone and other hormones, maybe adrenaline as well. But I think there's painkillers such that I'm administering to Thick as a Brick to keep him comfortable. Yes. It's mostly broken bones. It's mostly stuff that will affect future, but he's stable for now.
Yeah. So here's why drugs are easy for you, and that's quite easy to answer, actually. The Red Demons stole all of Angelica's supplies, and granted, most of those are still back at their base by the tower, but I think both Thick as a Brick and Egocentric actually carry medicine and drugs with them, because they obtained a bunch there.
Mm.
So I think this is the reasonable explanation for where you get you have a lot of stuff on you, but you can also get things off of them. I do, however, think that egocentric is let's not prolong this any further. I think egocentric is dead. It's crushed by a mole claw, didn't get immediate medical attention, got medical attention eventually, but you are not an angel. I don't think there's anything you can do for egocentric. But for thick as a brick, you can absolutely administer some painkillers and help him recover. Is it fair?
Yeah, I think that's more than fair. Push back, because I imagine he's probably got helmet hair or something like that. Push back the helmet, just check his temperature. And I imagine by now he's probably passed out from the pain.
Yeah.
Then kneel over egocentric and strip him of what he has. There are death rites to be observed. And she looks over to I think she looks over to Tar-Minotaur and Mageless, how should we... He's dead. Should we perform the rites for him here, or Iskandaric just had him loaded on, cargo?
Let's see, remind me, where is the train heading now? Cloud Bazaar, Sicari's Regret, or what?
Sicari's Regret, I think, was the next stop as Perfidelity established it, right?
Mm-hmm. Did we talk about how death rights and religion work in this setting?
We have not, I think.
I don't think we are qualified to do this. Insofar as Beyond can be qualified to give their rights, I'm not sure if we would be. Do you think that's fair?
Maybe this is something. Maybe this is a service you actually get at the Cloud Bazaar and the markets.
Yeah, if there's priests and so on, there is a mosque of the Holy Swamp and all that, right? So there is religion in the valley. What I'm basically saying is that knights aren't like battlefield chaplains who administered the last rites for each other, sort of thing.
Okay.
At least that's the vibe I'm giving for. Unless you'd prefer it to be otherwise, Salty. But I'm happy either way.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
So I think that they're probably, what I will establish is, I think that there are battlefield rites that are done by knights because they're just the people who are near the people who die. But I think it's interesting if the professional priest class of this society are actually paid for people. Like there's no no church that everyone pays a tithe into. It's sort of like how in some countries, you just go hire like a monk when someone dies for money.
Okay. Well, okay. If Perfidelity is asking, then yes, I think it makes sense that we do battlefield rights. I think Tar-Minotaur says this one Cartometric was injured before we joined the fray.
Sorry, it's egocentric that's injured. Yes, I just want to establish that. Yeah.
My apologies. Yes, this one was injured before we joined the fray. Thus, it would not be seemly to administer the rights for him that we would offer a sibling on the field of battle. He is no knight and was not drafted.
So by your logic here, you drafted Thick as a Brick, but Egocentric had time to die before he could be drafted, and therefore is not part of your team. Is that Tar-Minotaur's logic? Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
I think makes sense. Right. Yeah. I think the battlefield rights do matter quite a bit, because that's like you die as a knight, right? Sort of something like that.
Yeah.
Or on the path. This man was never on the path. Yeah, so I think Tar-Minotaur just says that and kind of like watches to see what you make of that and what you do next.
And Perfidelity nods, closes her eyes briefly. Well, if he is not ours, then he is Lady Iskandaric's. But I believe that we will not be seeing her for quite some time. She charged him into our care when we left.
Yeah, I think Tar-Minotaur nods at that and says, "When we arrive at the Cloud Bazaar, I shall arrange for a priest to arrive to administer the rites. But he shall not receive the battlefield rites that I can administer."
Very well. That makes sense. But surely we should do something for him in the meantime. Make him comfortable. Cannot just leave him to rot.
Mm-hmm. I think Tar-Minotaur says that this matters to you. So she stands up, takes her coat off, and puts it over the body.
Thank you.
And then kind of looks at you and looks at Thick as a Brick. And then looks back at you and says,
I think Thick as a Brick, just to inject here, I think Thick as a Brick is mostly unconscious, but I think he's a big guy. So even on the sedatives, there is a little bit of like groaning, and occasionally his eyes flicker open and he like slips in and out of consciousness. I think that's the vibe with him right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think I look at him, look at you again. I say, "It appears to me that he will live."
Yes.
It's a state. Yeah. I think then she says, "Why did you insist upon changing the battle plan to charge in with your missile?"
It wasn't right what they were doing. It also wasn't right to trap them in there like rats and burn down the place around them. We have a duty to the valley, and that includes the things within it. It needed my help. It asked for my help.
Mm-hmm. I think Tar-Minotaur looks at you for a little bit of a pause and says, "I allowed this because you had insisted upon it, and because I wished you to see the consequences of your foolishness." I can then nod towards Thick as a Brick and say, "This is your lesson." Do you absorb it?
Yes, Mistress, I do. And I think it's kind of said with that little bit of a set of the jaw that's, I don't see how it's that bad. Mm-hmm. He'll live. He'll recover. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think Tar-Minotaur says, "You do not yet absorb it. You shall." And then Tar-Minotaur kind of like goes to her pack, because of course she's got a pack, and kind of like opens it, and then there's a lot of stuff in there, but she always knows where things are. And she withdraws a sort of like leather, sort of like wrapped parcel. Walks over to you and says, "This is for you."
And Perfidelity takes it. Is it heavy? What is it?
It's the glass scales from the Chimera that I got a couple sessions ago when I killed that monster.
The monster that was dying of old age, yeah.
So I don't know. I assumed it's lighter than its bulk would suggest because of its glass scales, but it's still probably decently heavy.
There was another one? Or what have you been up to? I must not have been as exciting as my tales to tell you.
I think Tar-Minotaur, we don't have to play through it, but I think Tar-Minotaur tells you everything, in fact, because there's nothing that needs to be concealed from you. So I think mentions the journey to the Grand Caravanserai, the Detour, the Dead Ferryman, well, potentially Dead Ferryman, the Chimera, the encounter with the Cork-Hatted Bat. Oh, actually, what happened to the Cork-Hat guy? I just realized. Let's double check.
Yeah, Perfidelity told him to leave before he could get further involved and to not get involved with this again. Right,
yes. Okay.
That's basically what you told him.
Yes.
Then I think I mentioned the Cork-Hat man, and then there's probably like a pause where you probably catch me up on what happened to him, and then I continue the story. I mentioned the killing of the Batman, Cotopaxi's Batman. Then Cotopaxi, the encounter with Cotopaxi. Before that, there was an encounter with Cotopaxi's Polycule member, the first person whose name I don't remember, Bambi something.
Bambi Overdrive.
Then Cotopaxi, and then the horrible name.
Jetlag Pistachio.
Yes, Jetlag Pistachio. And also, what did I promise? I said that I'll introduce Jetlag Pistachio to the current owner, master of the Tower of St. Philomena. Yes.
Yes. Jetlag Pistachio is the new vice presidential quote-unquote candidate because you don't have elections, but appointee.
Yes. So I catch you up on all of this, and then I say, and then I drove forward on Matthew Mark IV to find you.
And you have found me.
So my story ends. What has been your history?
I encountered Ahiri again. She said she had sent help for the tower, and the help said that they did not intervene because you were there. Damnou sends her regards, Matress. She told me of what happened in the cradle, in the place where no one should go. Well, she didn't tell me everything, but I was not born yesterday. I can figure out what happens when 6 people go in and only 2 come out.
I think Tar-Minotaur's normally stoic face kind of like a ripples the jaw, and then she says, "This story was not hers to tell you."
Whose was it then? Because were you going to tell me?
It is my decision.
Very well. I have learnt it either way, and I would ask that you would not take it up against Damnou, for I insisted that I would know it. I wanted to know why she did not help. Why we almost died there.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I think Tar-Minotaur kind of like trembles, probably grips the pallet or the stretcher or whatever it is that is underneath the jacket. That egocentric? Was it egocentric? Yeah, it's under. Kind of like hold. Yeah, so holds it tight, holds it really tight, and then turns to look at you, kind of like mastering herself a little bit, and says, "You know the story, but you have heard it from one who should not have told it to you, and thus I shall tell you the story myself." And I think then she tells you the story, and in fact, it's basically the same story. After the fall, I'm not sure if the listeners heard this. I think we talked about it in text, so I think this is a good opportunity for me to reacquaint the listeners with it. Is that correct?
Yes,
Mhm.
please tell the story.
Okay, cool. So after the fall of the Knight President, the Knight General of the Order of the Worm, whose name I haven't decided, maybe you can figure that out. But basically, the person who was running my order, our order, basically, took the survivors of the order away to do not go there, the horrible volcanic mountain peaks. While we were there, the Knight General revealed a plot to seize control of the valley and appoint themselves the Knight President next. Tar-Minotaur denounced the order, refused to stand down, and was sentenced to execution. She escaped and fought them all, and forced Damnou to fight. And yeah, because of the size of the order, they were taken by surprise, and no one else survived. So Tar-Minotaur and Damnou are the only people who survived it. Now, did Damnou tell you that she didn't fight? Is that the discrepancy in the story?
No, I think she told the truth.
Okay.
What happened?
Okay, maybe I misunderstood what you said then. Okay. Then I think I mentioned this. And then I say, I do not speak of this day. It was a black day. It was the lowest day of the Order of the Worm. You are an intelligent girl. You have doubtless wondered why I do not style myself Knight General of the Order of the Worm, why I introduce myself simply as Knight of the Order of the Worm. There is no one else superior to me in this fallen order, and thus the title should by rights be mine, but I do not claim it. You have noticed this.
Yes.
It is a tarnished title.
Very well. So it is. But equally, it is her story to tell as well. She was in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Terminator relaxes a little bit and says, who she tells the story to, whether she tarnishes our name by letting the people of the valley know of this great moment of weakness. That is, I think the pause, there's a diegetic. I think Terminator's pausing as well. That is her prerogative. I would intervene if it did us harm. But she spoke this to you, my squire, and she did not speak it innocently. You said that she sends her regards. She does not send her regards. I can see the lie in you. She told you this story to do us harm. Is it not so? I think I want to read you. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
It's sharp. Let's just go. Oh, 10.
Okay, 3 questions.
Yeah. So I accused you of lying. I'm still going to ask, are you telling the truth and how can I tell? Just because I think that's interesting to use one of the options for that.
I'm telling the truth about this. Yes, but I'm not telling you other things. And you can tell because Perfidelity is very specifically orienting herself towards your flesh half, not the prosthetic that pointed a gun at her at the tower. That's how you can tell. It's just this measure of caution in her movements.
Did I point a gun at the tower? I pointed a gun in the train station,
Yeah.
I think. Oh.
You pointed a gun at me at the tower.
Oh, yes, because of the... Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
the prosthetic did it autonomously, but...
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. That makes sense. Because I also walked into the train carriage engine pointing a gun, but that was different. Cool. Makes sense. Nice. Yeah. What are you feeling? Yeah, I think that's just the question. What are you feeling?
About this.
I just asked the general question
Mhm.
because I wanted it
Okay.
open-ended. I can. Do you want it to be more specific? I can.
Feeling. I think there was this curiosity about this jet lag pistachio, about what's going on with the vice presidentship. I think it's just a little bit defensive. It's this feeling of just defensiveness. These shoulders pulled tight, jaw set. No, not aggressive, just defensive about this relationship with Damnou.
Mm-hmm. Nice. What do you hope I'll do, if anything?
I don't think anything, because you're the master in this relationship. You're the person who's in charge. It's your prerogative to do whatever you'd like. It's just I think if Perfidelity hopes you'll do anything, she hopes it's something that she can weather easily enough.
Good. I think Tar-Minotaur sighs again, sits down, and says, "The relationship of Squire is one you have sought out. You have asked me if I would allow you to stand in this place. There has been one before you who stood in this place who was a disappointment. You, at any time you wish, can release yourself of my service. You know this. I have told you this before, and I will remind you of this again. If you feel that I am too harsh, or you feel that the Order of the Worm is not worthy of you, you can make these decisions whenever you desire. But so long as you are my squire, I would like to know that I can rely upon you."
You can rely upon me. I am not backing down. I am not a coward, and I will not be a disappointment.
I think Tar-Minotaur kind of nods her head a bit more. I think you realize that she's very tired. And then she says, "Very well. Then we are satisfied."
You should rest. Then we are satisfied. It is not far to Sakari's regret, but it is far enough.
There is one more matter. Well, two more matters. And I think she gives the smallest thing that looks like a smile first and says, "The first, I have asked our host, who is too busy to give the pleasure of their personal table to us today, to send a worthy meal towards us, and thus we shall eat, because it is important you should be eaten. Perfidelity." So, out of character, I'm going to use the fact that luxury goods are easily available to me to ask for whatever Kid Gloves is having for dinner.
Yeah,
Yes, reasonable.
I think food is still brought forth to you because luxury goods are easily accessible. There is a weird situation with Kid Gloves now. I just want to flag that because you have paid to be on the train, but you've also killed a person who's been on the train and committed massive amounts of property damage. So there's this. You are getting precisely what hospitality demands and nothing more. But I think in this case, hospitality does demand that you get a meal, and it's a nice meal because it just so happens that that's what they're having today. So,
yes, exactly. Yeah. I'm phrasing it in a way that isn't actually true, so that we can all keep up this farce and not have to kill each other.
Yeah.
So that's going to come. That's what I'm saying.
It is, and I think the luxurious goods that have on the train today is a Jello salad
Mm,
They're having like a gelatin salad because that is a luxury in the
nice.
apocalypse. So yeah, it's like a bunch of various things suspended in jelly.
Nice. Okay. Perhaps then we'll turn our attentions to that. But I think before the meal comes and before our attention is diverted and before someone else shows up,
Hmm.
I think I'm going to ask, who is the courier?
I don't know if that's somebody Perfidelity would know. Like, that's what we're calling her, but I don't know if that's how Perfidelity
That's
would
fine.
know
Yeah.
her. So I don't
You-
think you would get the response you want on that, but I know what you want from this.
No. If you answer that you don't know who that is, that's also useful for me because all I know is the courier. And if that name doesn't mean anything to you, then that's also interesting, right? So answer naturally. It's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yeah, Perfidelity, I think from where she's sitting next to Thick as a Brick, keeping one hand on his inner wrist, just checking that his pulse is still steady and strong. I'm sorry, who?
I had a vision. It told me two things. The man who slew evil slew the valley, and that the courier killed the Knight President. And about the courier, I must ask you. This name means nothing to you?
No, this name does not mean anything to me. Nothing at all. I hear many names, and that is not one of them.
Then, my squire, you must keep your eyes and ears and your mind open. And inform me as soon as you know who the courier may be.
For she slew the Knight President. I thought Flagrant killed the Knight President. That is the tail on the wind these days.
She burned down the presidential palace. That is crime enough. But my visions tell me the courier killed the Knight President. And they are not wrong.
And is that why you went to the Grand Caravanserai? To hunt down information on her?
No, the Kachiful pack had been aided by Sikari, by the Vice President Cotopaxi's servant. When they had snuck in to burn the palace down, I wished to enact justice for that crime.
The Catchful Pack. And I think here, Perfidelity leans forward, and I think I'm going to honestly tell you what the best course of action is here.
Oh, yeah.
And she goes, raiders, scavengers. And she flicks her gaze over to Thick as a Brick. You have the right tenant of the Red Demon's ear. Once he is healed, I'm sure Lady Iskandaric and him probably know a great deal about how to find them. Perhaps you could work together. One pack of raiders is enough for the valley, I would say. So yes, that is my advice. Use Lady Iskandaric to fight the Catchful pack.
Nice. I think Tar-Minotaur doesn't smile as such. I think like the previous smile was used up the entire quota, perhaps for the next 3 days. But you can tell that she enjoys this. and says, "Wise counsel, my squire, and well spotted."
Nice.
And then it's yellow salad time.
Iskandaric.
Yes.
You are coming up on the scene of the delivery, and I'm just going to frame what is happening, and then you can tell me how you're approaching it. So, the shipment is being ferried across the water. This was the original weak point, and they are doing this in a place where the water is... They have to load it onto barges off and on, but I think the water of the river is quite shallow along the banks. So there's a bunch of people wading on one side, loading stuff up on a barge and shipping it across. And on the other side is some stuff that has been unloaded. So you arrive at a point where they have basically sent across a couple of the barrels and containers that they are shipping, and they are currently working on the second load, because they only have one barge, so there's a lot of going back and forth. Slow and tedious work. The first thing that I will just present for you in this situation is, I think that it is perfectly possible for you to just do a hit and run, pick up the stuff that's already been ferried across, and leave. And you can do that quite quickly and by surprise. Now, we won't secure you everything that is around, but this is my way of interpreting luxury goods as easy, because luxury goods are in these crates, and you can simply steal some of them.
Okay.
While avoiding much of a fight. Or you can try to assault them and try to take all of the stuff that's being loaded onto the barge, the stuff on the other side. But that will entail some fighting. There's a handful of people. Most of them aren't armed because they don't expect trouble, but there is one person. There are two individuals that draw your attention. The first person is someone holding a rather scary looking rifle out in the water. They're a twitchy looking tall person with long black hair, standing broad-legged in the water, surveying the area. Probably being quite able to draw a good bead on anyone who approaches from there, overlooking it. And the second person is some kind of foreman who is a little further back, surveying the work being done, walking around among the workers, shouting at them, who sports a pair of pistols on their belt. This person is shorter and has a wide-brimmed sort of cowboy-like hat, and looks to be some sort of commander or person in charge. So, person in charge with two pistols, and elite guard with a rifle. These are the two people that draw your immediate attention. But none of them are near the side of the shore where a bunch of stuff is just unloaded, where you could just do a hit and run.
They're not the only armed.
No, they're not. Their workers are armed. There's perhaps a dozen or so people, ferrying stuff across. Probably a little bit more, maybe between a dozen and 20 people. And of course, not all of them are well armed. Not all of them are armed, but they can be whipped up into a fight should the need arise. So you don't necessarily outnumber them, but in terms of armed people ready to fight, you definitely outnumber them. That said, it's not like they couldn't put up a fight. They have firearms.
Right. Now, I'm picturing, I'm thinking out loud. I'm thinking of, there are a few ways I could play this, and I don't know, I'm open to being, persuaded one or the other. So, we could swoop in, take the stuff that's already been unloaded, and off we go into the sunset. That's nice. It's also possible, I think, maybe, that since Revolver Pinata himself isn't here to receive these goods, to turn up on his behalf and be like, "Hi, Pinata can't make it, is busy with his monsters, as you know."
Yeah. I love that you're going to do a blade heist on this, man.
Yeah.
You're skipping blade heists.
That's definitely possible, to just be impersonate the receiver. It's going to be kind of difficult because I imagine they have.
That would be hard. It also has occurred to me that we could do a one-time hit, and what's occurred to me is that we don't necessarily want to kill everyone here, because if you kill everyone and take all the stuff, that's a one-time thing, and possibly the survivors will never use this route ever again. But if you take a little bit, then they will continue to use the route, but then we can come to some kind of arrangement where, like, hey, it'd be a real shame if things go missing, right?
Yeah, so your plan is to basically move in and collect taxes unofficially, like a toll.
Yeah. But first we need to make that point, right? We need to make the point that, there are raiders around these parts.
Yeah. Okay, so your plan is to first steal these goods, hope they don't catch you, and then come back and be the police and be like, as long as you pay us, you won't get raided, promise.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is very much how it works, and I know in the Hyperpass, this is how it used to work, where so.
Right,
Yes.
it makes sense. Makes sense, absolutely. You steal a little bit from them, and then you ask for protection money to not steal from them again. Yeah.
Yeah. I think as an ongoing thing, which is probably what we want for St. Philomena's Tower, like ongoing. Yeah, that's what it is, right? Hey, I'm in charge now. I'm just collecting taxes, man. Like, come on. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you want to play this as your opening gambit? Is that to just rush in and steal things quickly, or are you doing something else? Like, I'm giving you.
The opening gambit. Okay, I think I've convinced myself that the opening gambit is rush in, steal things, and then later when they're like, "Hey, you stole our stuff," I'll be like, "No, I didn't steal anything. I'm collecting taxes."
Okay. Yeah. So step one is to rush in, steal this unloaded goods, and get it to safety where they can't shoot you anymore.
Yeah.
If I understand it correctly. All right. So you don't need to command your gang to do this. They are on board with this. This is good for everyone. I think what you are doing is... I think this is an act under fire. This is stick to your guns, hold it together under stress. You're not exactly trying something challenging because it's not you personally running up, lifting up the crate and running off with it. This is more act under fire because it sort of relies on you keeping your cool as a leader, right? To be like, everyone wait, now is the opportunity. Rush out, fire a couple of warning shots, steal everything you can carry, run away, right?
The other idea that I've had, that I'm not going to go through it now, was to fire my rocket tubes like upstream and cause a wave to...
Yeah, I mean, that's perfectly possible as a distraction.
Oh, yeah, but I feel that it might do too much damage and we can't do the protection rocket anymore.
All right.
Speaking of rocket tubes, have you been keeping track of your ammunition, Aadiyat?
Yes, I've marked one ammo because Perfidelity did fire it.
Yeah, okay. They haven't actually been used a lot.
Yeah.
So the vast majority of things the gang have been doing with them is threatening people with them. They haven't actually fired them a lot. So
yeah.
Yep.
It's been fired once by Perfidelity. Yeah. Okay, let's we're playing it cool.
Okay.
It's a 4.
It's a 4. Okay. So what goes wrong here, I think, is that you rush out. You yeah, this is harsh, but this is what it is. You are a raider. You live life dangerously. So you rush out. You aim to just like grab these things. Some of your people fire a couple of warning, like covering shots or whatnot. And this person out in the water just draws a bead and shoots someone. And I will let you decide here. Do you get shot, in which case you take some harm? Or does one of your people get shot, in which case they just die, because this marksman is apparently quite good? That's what this 4 represents. So this 4 doesn't necessarily represent a failure getting your hands on the goods, like your people are picking up the goods. It's just that someone gets shot.
How much harm do I have? A field, haven't I?
Yeah.
Right. Well, actually, speaking of how much harm do I have, I've had like 1 harm on my clock for, I think, since last session. It should just heal by itself, should it not?
Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
So
I've got no harm.
You are fully healed, but this is, and it's important to establish harm ahead of time, so forgive me for not saying that. This person has a rifle, which is 4 harm. And I'm not counting this as sort of a gang situation because your roll failed, right? So they're shooting at an individual. If they hit one of your gang, they have armor, but they will still die. That's how it goes. You have 1 armor, so you would take 3 harm, which is still quite painful, but you can at least survive it.
Yeah,
And I will let you decide.
Yeah, I've been losing gang members quicker than I can replace them. As in,
Yeah.
I've not replaced any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'll get hit for the team.
Okay. Then please roll the harm move, which is 2d6 minus the number of harm you've suffered, which is 3. So 3 ticks on your harm clock, and roll 2d6 minus 3.
So that should do it. It's a 6.
Ooh. On a miss, the MC chooses 1. You're out of action, unconscious, trapped, incoherent, or panicked. It's worse than it seemed. Take +1 harm, or choose 2 from the 7 to 9 list. So.
How?
Yeah.
The pain.
I think what I will go with is it's worse than it seemed. Take +1 harm. So that ticks you all the way up to 4 ticks on your harm clock. And yeah, I think there is this just like quick snapshot goes around. You are at this point, the reason why this is interesting is that when you've taken this much harm, you're at the point where you are actively taking more harm. You're like bleeding quite badly. So there is this shot ringing out. You notice that you have been shot like squarely in the torso somewhere. It's quite bad. Your gang are moving off, and you are presented with basically a quick choice here. Again, the reason why I don't want you taken out of the action is I think it's interesting to see how Iskandaric handles this. So you have weapons. You could shoot back at this person who's just wheeled around and squarely shot you and like expected you to die. And basically you can roll into cover and hope that your people drag you to safety, or you can shoot back. But it's one of the two, because they're like quickly reloading and are otherwise going to shoot you again.
Oh, hell no. You don't. Again, never show weakness. Never compromise. Fire back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot back. And maybe now is the opportune moment to use my rocket tubes to wash them all downstream.
Yeah. Okay. So we are now, and I'm flagging that this is quite dangerous. Like, not backing down now can mean that you die if this goes poorly, or at least that your harm clock fills and life becomes untenable. Doesn't necessarily kill you, but
that's alright.
I just want to point that out to you. So,
sometimes you die.
So this person inflicts 4 harm by default, but now you have your gang with you. So now there's a certain amount of protection from that. When you attack someone under fire, we have a macro for this. You roll the dice, and then you get a certain number plus on attack and a certain number plus on defense. You get 0 to your defense and 3 to your attack roll, but you can choose which is which.
It was exclamation TGB, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because you're doing battle.
Doing battle. So, what was that? That was an 11 and a 7.
A 9 and a 7, actually.
Oh, sorry, a 9 and a 7.
A 9 and a 7, which means that, yeah, your defense is going to be 7 to 9, either way. And your attack is going to be 10, either way.
Yeah, well, there you go.
You don't have much of a choice. So,
not much of a choice,
on a 10 plus, choose 2 of the following against your enemy. Inflict terrible harm, seize hold of something, get them out of your way, impress, frighten, or dismay them. So your rocket tube does a lot of harm, and you're aiming it at an individual.
I think what I want to do is dismay them, like, as in, when I later, assuming I survive, say that, you better pay up.
Yeah.
They'll remember this.
Yeah. Okay, so you impress, frighten, or dismay them. That's one of your choice. You will kill this person even if you don't inflict terrible harm. So you can also choose to seize definitive hold of the stuff on this side of the river that you're trying to steal, I think. Not in the sense that, you physically hold it, but in the sense that doing this means no one is going to attempt to take it back. If you would like, or you can pick another one.
It's like, I get to pick 2.
You get to pick 2. So one of them is impress, frighten, or dismay them.
Impress, frighten, dismay, and
You can pin them down, get them out of your way, or seize hold of something, or inflict terrible harm. But this person is going to
Knock
die
them
anyway.
down, drive them away. I mean, driving them away, I think, also does the same thing. I mean, you can tell me if, as like them not coming back on this side of the river to take the stuff, right?
You can make them flee.
Yeah, also make them flee.
Okay.
They're dismayed, they're fleeing. Then they'll,
Yeah, they're dismayed. Yeah, so that happens. There is the rocket tube. There is a rocket coming down into the river with this waiting person who is, probably reloading the rifle at this point. I think this goes very quickly, so I don't think that they shoot back. But other people are, right? They blow up and bullets come flying your way. Now, unfortunately, you rolled a 7 to 9, so you take full harm, which, again, I will let you choose here. And I think this is interesting. If you take this harm yourself, then your harm clock fills. And you will have to expend one of your when life becomes untenable options. If you don't, again, someone in your gang dies.
Okay, now someone in my gang can die, because I think...
Yeah.
But I think, like, of course, because the way it's done, right? Because if the gang starts taking harm, then, like, multiple people will die.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm letting you choose whether you let the gang take 4 harm, minus their armor, minus their scale. So they will end up with 2 harm. Or whether you take 3 harm.
What would 2 harm do to the gang?
Where is the list of 2 harm to a gang? When a gang takes harm. Looking that up again.
Yeah, many injuries, several serious, a couple of fatalities.
Yeah, thank you. So a couple of fatalities, several serious injuries. Essentially, the question here is, if you step out and make yourself the obvious target by raising up the rocket tube and blowing this person up, then a bunch of people are going to shoot you. If it's more of a, you shoot but your gang rushes forward, then they are going to be shot by a bunch of bullets, and multiple of them will be hit.
I think what, in this sense, also makes sense for the role-playing aspect is that this kind of the gang are doing this together.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. So, your gang gets shot up. You haven't named everyone on your gang, and we've had a lot of named people die before we had a chance to see them. So I'm going to say that someone we haven't yet named dies. Don't think we've used this name, so I'm going to name the fatality hat trick.
No, he has so much potential.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd time he's gotten shot.
Yes. Yeah.
No, we'll name him posthumously. He got shot 3 times.
Yes. So, bullets fly, your gang rushes off backwards, but this explosion makes them scramble away. So, in fact, it's less you rushing off backwards to steal things. It's like your gang takes cover behind the crates and then realizes that, the other side is given up after a quick exchange. But now your gang...
what this looks like is because we fired this, a guy who was waiting across, is that what I was saying before is that the river has essentially pushed them onto the other shore.
Yeah.
And now, which wouldn't hurt too much, but, they're oh, God, not worth it.
Not worth it, yes. I mean, big explosion, absolutely not worth it. They are scrambling away. They are perhaps getting some of the supplies with them, but mostly not. They are definitely abandoning the barge. And it's up to you exactly how much you want to loot. But you do start off... Yeah, you lost the element of surprise. They had time to shoot at you before you could shoot at them. You are quite badly injured. Some of your people are badly injured. Hat-Trick is simply dead. Lies face down in the river. But it's over very, very quickly, right? There's a shot, there's an explosion, there's a couple of gunshots for a couple of seconds before they give up and scatter. And everything turns eerily quiet again.
Okay, so I can... no immediate danger?
No. You
Alright.
scared them away, and I think it makes
Alright, cool.
perfect sense that they are retreating in disarray. Like this is a brief and brutal fight.
Yeah. I think Iskandaric kind of, is holding like the place like in her torso where she got
Mhm.
shot, and takes a few like shallow breaths, and I think Iskandaric carries on the whistle, right?
Mhm.
Like blows on the whistle to basically, get everyone to attention.
Yeah.
Logistic, I think, is going to be the best at judging what we can actually take back
Yeah.
and what we
So
can.
yeah. So you holding this wound, you're still going like the priority is to get the loot. Yeah. And so Logistic rushes forward to open one of the boxes and draws out an item and then just looks at it in absolute confusion and has no idea what this is. And what the item is a shimmering, very beautiful, colorful seashell.
Oh,
Which no one in
interesting.
the valley has ever seen, because you have never seen anything like an ocean. And then Logistic like looks through these carefully packed, like beautiful shells and like thickly with a thick packing, probably dried seaweed around them. And there is this momentary confusion of like, I know this is valuable, but I have no idea what it is.
I think Iskandaric is going to pay attention to that in a bit, but having delegated to Logistic to
Yeah.
do that, turns around and goes, right, who's still standing?
Yeah. And of course, most people are still standing. They've taken a couple of nicks and bruises. I think most of the people who are injured, it's not that they are injured from bullets. They're injured from like the general chaos of things, right? Scrambling for cover, falling over. Most bullets miss in a quick exchange like this. So aside from the dead person, I think most of the other injuries are just from the general chaos of it all.
Right. Okay, so if none of my guys are dying, I mean, the ones who are dying are dead already,
Yeah.
right?
I think it's interesting. We've had a lot of your people be dying, so in this case, the ones who are dying are simply dead. Yeah.
Are simply dead. Yeah, I think in this case, it's more like Iskandaric putting on a brave face, like, oh, got shot in the torso. Come on, like, in that case, like, all right, we'll just focus on the cargo, and she hobbles up to Logistic, looks down at the seashells, and goes, "Oh, this had better be worth something. Never seen anything like that."
No, I haven't either. There's a lot of it, and well, this is clearly the most valuable container. I think this might be brittle. We'll need to be careful with it.
All right. Start loading up whatever we've got on this side onto the four-wheelers.
Will do.
And well, I mean, we don't know what the question is. What did Revolver want with these?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I have no idea. Logistic just says and like starts lifting up the crate and like going through what else is there.
Before he moves off, Iskandaric, I think, because this seems important, and she doesn't have like a obvious way to understand what it is, but we'll pick one of these up, and so she's gonna. I'm picturing this looks like maybe a conch shell or something.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a little like it's like a conical thing wrapped up. It looks like there's a hole, like something well, we know what it sounds like. She doesn't know what it sounds like, but I think something does compel her to like put it to her ear.
Yeah.
And listen.
Okay. Would you like to open your brain to the
I would like to open my
maelstrom?
brain.
Yeah. Very good.
Oh, magic conch shell. work. Oh no, it was 9.
Yeah. It's a 9, so you get confusing and alarming visions. Yeah. I think the confusing and alarming visions in this case is that you hear water, like a lot of water. You hear, not only is it that you hear the sounds of like waves rolling in against the seashore, but you somehow understand this idea of this like vast, incomprehensible quantity of water that these things are associated with. And you get the confusing and alarming visions that fill your head, I think, is that you get some sort of understanding of the fog over the ocean and something happening to the fog. Something is, all this water is doing something to the fog that's hung over your world since forever. Maybe is it making it retreat? There's a great wind. There's a great storm. The water is changing.
Most interesting. I think having heard this, she looks up at the sky. I think she's kind of just looking up around at the sky, almost like still, like trying to smell something in the air. Like it doesn't have to be a roll or anything. I'm not trying to get more information, but just like, you know, just a feeling, right? Like, all right.
Yeah. And what you can smell and what you can see is it isn't here yet. You hear it in this strange shell. You know that it is out there, the literal storm, the strange change in the weather coming from the water. But it hasn't reached you yet. You don't smell it on the wind.
Okay, so being injured and all, I think we'll sit down and stabilize our wounds, but for that, I picture that logistic is just walking back and forth, like with like they carrying the things. Like she puts like when they cross paths, she puts a hand on logistics' shoulder and says, "I feel like we've picked up, like we've got more than we bargained for. Keep the shells together in one place.
All right.
Until we know exactly what these are. We're not bargaining for them because I feel like this is worth a lot. I feel like this is the key to the valley."
Yeah, I think as you say that, there is a shiver running up Logistic's spine, and he realizes the gravity of the situation, and he just nods quietly, looks down at your wound, but doesn't say anything because you don't show weakness. Your gang doesn't acknowledge it. This is not the time. But blood is seeping between your fingers where you hold it up to your chest.
Yeah.
But he just, nods, and I think puts the shell you picked out back in its like seaweed bubble wrap that they're all packaged in very carefully and reseals the crate. And with that, I think we can cut away unless there's something else you add.
No, I should focus on not bleeding to death. So,
Yeah.
Just that.
All right.
Right.
So the Black Cabbage Station is the station closest to Sicari's Regret, and that is presumably where Perfidelity and Tar-Minotaur get off the train. Yes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I think it is a relatively calmer day in the bazaars surrounding the Regret today. There's less activity than there was when Revolver Pinata was coming in here aiming to like buy everything, which was Revolver Pinata's plan. A lot has happened. People, of course, haven't heard that Revolver Pinata is dead. And in fact, part of the reason maybe why the Railmar makes a longer stop here is that Kid Gloves is selling this information to people.
Let it be known.
Yeah.
People, if everyone knows that I was supposed to kill him, as it.
Yeah. It's very quick. And I think since the train messes with time, it has not been very long at all, in fact, since the departure.
Nice.
So you get off, but yeah, there is a smaller crowd after the rail mall took off. People didn't expect it to come back so soon. So there's not, the waiting crowd of, like, they can check the timetable, but the timetable is fickle. So there's a couple of people, but the road to the Regret is quite clear. And I think the sky above is a dreary kind of gray. You can in the distance see the fog over the mountaintops. And do you go straight to the regret, or where do your steps take you?
Well, we have a priest to find to engage,
Yeah.
but that is something Tar-Minotaur is sorting out.
Yeah. If it's an interesting scene, we could make it a scene. Otherwise, we could just say that it happens in the background.
Okay.
I think, though, we need to cruise the market because we're looking for somebody to take care of Thick as a Brick. Well, I am.
Good idea.
Yeah. So you're aiming at the barter move, trying to drop Jingle, or something else?
Yeah, I think I am dropping Jingle in that I'm cruising a marketplace looking for somebody to treat up Thick as a Brick because I cannot do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to back that play by going with you and lending my weight and authority to your requests.
Yep.
Is it fair?
Yes. I think it's fair that you can back the play in this way, but of course, when you back a play, you potentially expose yourself to risk.
Well, that's the point.
Mhm.
So I'll just do that with +2.
Yeah.
It's a 10.
Okay, so you back the play and no fuss about it. Do you want a +1 to the...
+1.
Yeah.
That
+1
simply
to
makes sense.
Perfidelity's play. So it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see it. So I think I'm going from... No, actually, I think there are certain people, like, I mean, Angelica is the main source of healing, I think, to the little folk of the valley. But I think there are also certain other people.
Yeah.
So I think there is somebody specific I'm looking for here to see if they're here actually in the bazaar.
All right.
Where are they? And what do they need right now, I think, is the interesting thing to ask.
Okay, before you roll. Yeah, all right.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh.
Roll, anyway.
Very interesting.
Okay. So, they consider you to be neither rich nor powerful in this moment, which means that you can't simply throw authority or money around. That's what the roll tells us. And so I think, in order to tie this together with the priests, I think it's interesting that there is like religion and healing, because we have established that the Tower of Saint Fulmina is like the religious beacon, and Angelica is a religious figure. So you have a good relationship with them at the moment. But I think the person you are put in touch with is a person named Serendipity Rolodex, who is... Yeah, thank you. Uh-huh. I take great care in all my NPC names, as you can tell. Serendipity Rolodex is a somewhat eccentric figure who is also interested in the radio, as most people of the religious persuasion are, but who has a knack for patching people up, and who was also qualified to do the last rites. And so I think on a hit, this might not have been an interesting scene, but because it is a miss, let us make it one, albeit a brief one. So you step into their little shop, perhaps having had help to bring the dead person and the injured person along, right? That's not too difficult to procure. And you see this person moving around a workspace, somewhat like yours, equipped with a handful of radios, a handful of like medical supplies that look very much like their old world medical supplies, like salvaged hospital equipment. Which is, I think they have like a heart monitor that is plugged into the radios, so it reads some kind of insane frequency from the tower. So there's this beep, beep, beep that is supposed to measure a heart rate, but it's in fact measuring something else altogether. And Serendipity herself, let's go with her, is bedecked in feathers, like covered in feathers that stretch out and are spanned out, in fact are intertwined with steel wire to create something like feathered antenna around their collar and their head. And she turns around, looks you up and down, and says, "Ah, knights with wounded. Has there been a raid? Is that what has happened?"
Yes, there has been something of the sort. But I'm surprised your radio hasn't told you that yet, Serendipity.
Well, I've been listening to other things. That is the matter. There are other things that interest me. There are things afoot, you see? Things greater than some little petty raid or others. Well. But you don't know anything about that, I suppose. No. Where have you been? Where did this happen? It's important.
The pit stop. I bring painkillers, adrenaline, hormones. If that is what you want. The trade.
I think there is a little curl of the lip and goes, "The pit stop. Ill omen. Yes, very well. Very well. Okay, so since you missed here, I think you can pay your way with the drugs you have procured, but I think the cost is they are no longer easy for you. Like, it will cost you most of what you have. If you're okay with that as a simple cost, otherwise you can negotiate. But I think that's the simple payment. How do you feel about this?
I think there's a standard payment, and when Perfidelity puts that down, and is this not enough for you?
No, I don't. See, the thing is, pit stop or no, I'm occupied, and like I said, cannot be invested in petty raiders unless you have more. I must be prepared. There is word coming from the fortress, Polemarch. You see, in fact, I think I must go there rather soon. And I need all the supplies I can get.
I think Tar-Minotaur, who's been standing there quietly observing this, cuts in and says, "What news from Polemarch's fortress?"
Well, I understand it to be an impending duel. I understand things are to be settled in the old-fashioned way to prevent an all-out war.
Challengers?
Well, the two that matter. Ashurdan and Polemarch.
I think I turn to Perfidelity and say, "It behooves me to make this my concern now, Squire. And I would ask you to make it your concern as well."
Very well. And you need supplies for this. Taking care of the wounded. Do they not have another one of your ilk situated? Do they not call upon Angelica?
Angelica is not available to be called upon after the recent change in management over at the tower.
This is not a concern. I think Tar-Minotaur cuts in. For these are the people who are loyal to the one who has taken over the tower.
These are? Who?
Oh, have we not brought the wounded with? Oh, I guess we haven't actually.
Oh, yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the wounded. Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks down at him and goes, "Oh, they. Right. Loyal to the ones who've taken over the tower. Yes. Perfectly well. But you must understand, I have important people and important matters to tend to, and I need to get going. Unless you make it worth my while to stay."
No, we must go. Let word be sent to Angelica. You have the channels to arrange this quickly.
Very well. I'll forward a message to Angelica that these people are to be seen to by the tower. One to be buried, one to be, by the looks of it, reconstructed. Tilts her head a little bit.
Not reconstructed.
No, a
To
lesser
be-
injury then.
Lesser injuries. You would not want to be cared for by Angelica's aunts. And I think there's
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
pregnant pause as to what
Mhm.
exactly
Yeah.
Perfidelity thinks.
There is a standoff moment there, and then Serendipity says, "Very well. Very well. That is all up to you. But I need to be at the fortress when this happens. There is, well, not just profit to be made, but prophecy to be made from this. I'm sure of it. The static speaks to me."
Mhm. This radio, it relays forward as well.
Yes, I can make it. I can make it reach. Is there a message you would send? Am I a messenger now?
Activated. I shall send my own message to Polemarch's fortress.
Very well. All right. You are a knight after all. I suppose I must. And she steps forward to the big array. And I think the insanity of like the rig that Serendipity is going is that it is actually like it's an improvised radio made from hospital equipment that's mostly here for ritual purposes. Like she is a doctor, but all this hospital equipment is just here for religious reasons, and the medical
Mhm.
care she does has nothing to do with it. So
Mhm.
I think she plugs you in to speak with what is a funny piece of medical equipment to use as a microphone, or to hook up a microphone to?
Scope.
Th- um, thermometer that I put in my mouth.
Yeah, what was that? What was that you said? Someone
Yes.
suggested something.
I said
Stethoscope.
stethoscope.
Yes, stethoscope. Yeah, there we go. Obviously, it's a
Yes.
stethoscope that you're using as the mic. This doesn't really make any sense, but that's how it's done.
That's fine. That's just how it's done.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I guess like I'm listening through this telescope as well, and I'm going to talk into it, right?
Yeah.
And am I hailed? How does this work? Like, do they hail me, or do I just send a message out?
I suppose I think you just send a message and then you
Yeah. Okay.
confirm
Sure.
whether it's been received. Yeah.
Yeah. A message to radio station of Polemarch's fortress. This is Tar-Minotaur Azdakush, Knight of Lance Drakar of the Order of the Worm, senior surviving member of the Order of the Worm, reporting that I shall be attending the duel and that it must wait until I am there. I shall make all haste. I bring the doctor with me.
Mm-hmm. And I think there is a moment's confusion because both time and news travel weirdly in this world, and the very staticky message that that returns, and this is deliberately confusing. So I'm pre-lining this with I'm being deliberately confusing, so you're
Yes.
not confused out of character. You get a message back and going like, very garbled and static. You hear back like, we await you. We don't know about the duel. Ashurdan is dead.
Can I ask a further question, or is that it?
That is it, yeah. So there is a duel planned, and they are saying like Ashurdan didn't die in the duel. Ashurdan appears to have died unrelatedly.
Okay.
So this message comes in, and Serendipity goes, there may be contradictory messages. Not all is clear. That's why I need to be there in person, you see.
Mm-hmm. But I think I put the machine aside. I thank them for their time.
Yeah.
And I tell both her, both her and Perfidelity.
Mm-hmm.
I have bought us some time. We cannot use the rail mall once more. We must drive down the long road to Polemarch's fortress. Thus, make your arrangements, freshen yourselves up. It shall be a long journey. Arrange your
Yes.
affairs.
Very good, I shall then. We'll make my arrangements. It will take a little while. Wait for me at, I don't know, the Regret. It's nearby.
So it shall be. And I'm going to step back a little bit. Of course, Salty, this is one of the things where, like, this makes sense for me to be like, I'm going to immediately drop everything and go do that. And of course, Tar-Minotaur would expect you to do the same, but it's up to you. But I think buying some time might give us opportunity for you to do your thing as well.
That was my idea, at least. That this doesn't preclude, takes time to prepare for such a journey. So it's not like you have to go this hour or even this day.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, this is my top priority now.
Yeah? All good, Perfidelity?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Cool. So we can also do your stuff.
Yeah. So then let us see the Regret. And so, Perfidelity, as you, I will let you take the lead on this here. As you enter Sicarius Regret, are you just walking in? Like, you are aiming to look for secrets here, right? This was your priority? Is this something you do by, like, walking in the front door, or do you sneak into the backyard and just start surreptitiously digging for secret doors, or?
Well, I've got the map, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
I know where to go. So
Yeah.
I follow the map. And I imagine it is not walking in the front door of Sicarius Regret.
Yeah,
I don't know what
not.
the map is.
So the map indicates that there are, like, buildings, there are rooms in the basement that were there when this building became Sicarius Regret, but that have been, like, boarded up or bricked over. So essentially there are, like, rooms that no one knew about in the basement. So you can feasibly get in through, like, a basement window, through, like, maybe there is a basement back door. This is an old building, so it's possible such things exist, but I think the normal way one accesses the basement of Sicarius Regret, which is mostly used for storage and such, is via the front door and, via passages that Ahiri normally has access to. That said, I won't rule out there being, like, a basement door that is seldom used, where it's like a stair down from outside.
Yeah, I think what happens is, I told Damnou that I would be returning to Sicarius Regret, and on the rail mall, she would know that I'm coming. I think I meet her outside while she's smoking still, perhaps.
Yeah, makes
on
sense.
Her break, and she's chief of security here.
Yeah. So she looks at you, and I guess, is Tar-Minotaur with you when you approach her? Because that very much changes the dynamic. Or do you
what about that? Did you tell me what you wanted to do? Or is it like you're going to do something?
Perfidelity says, I am off to Sicarius Regret. I will be meeting with them now. It's just a statement of fact. It's up to you.
Okay. The reason I asked is because if that's all you say, then of course Tar-Minotaur will not join you with that. I think Tar-Minotaur would just go into the establishment itself, unknowing that you want to do some dangerous stuff. If you had told me that you were going to do some dangerous stuff, then I think she might have potentially gotten over her aversion of hanging out with Damnou to go help you with that. That's what I asked.
Okay.
But if that's what you say, then no. I think Tar-Minotaur would probably just nod and say, be ready.
I will also uphold the fact that you asked whether I was telling the truth in our conversation, wherein we would have discussed what we were going to Sicarius Regret for. So you would know I'm not telling you all the truth. Perfidelity is not necessarily telling you everything.
That's fine.
Right there.
Yeah. So I think it's more like I might keep an eye out for what you might be up to, but since you haven't invited me in, I'm not going to butt in on it. And I have an emotional reason to not be around what you're going to be doing, which is namely Damnou, right? So I think I'm going to otherwise stay out of it, but maybe if things go south, I might be able to pick up on it and join you later. Is it fair?
Yeah.
In that respect? Normally I'd be happy to join, but I think it just makes sense for Tar-Minotaur to kind of like go do something else in this moment because of this situation. That's okay. But I'm nearby. I'll be in the bar. So focus on you, I think.
Yeah. So Damnou says, throws away the smoke and says, "Right, you needed something, didn't you?"
Well, I needed just the one thing from you, which is not what I'm here to take, actually. But plans have changed. I cannot be here for as long as I wanted to be. The other part is the basement, things to do down there. And she taps where her mandible and her maxilla connect. I got word there was something down there for me. There are secrets if you know how to look for them. And I do. But... And she takes Damnou's hands in hers. I fear that I have not been too good to you recently. I fear that I may have been too harsh.
Yeah, I think Damnou faintly smiles at you, and there is a look. She doesn't say it, but there is a look of like, "Are you serious, or is this some kind of backhanded thing?"
Oh. Perfidelity is 100% serious.
I figured, but she isn't.
Mm.
She isn't quite sure whether to believe it at first, but she lets you go on. She makes eye contact. She listens.
Mm. I would ask you to choose. What would you like me to do? Would you like me to stay with you for a night and know that my mistress is out there? She would not be happy with me or with you. Or I can evade her notice. Do the other thing I came here to do. Which would you like?
You would only stay with me temporarily? You're off with the mistress again after that? Is that what you tell me?
There is a duel.
Of course. Of course there is a duel. Well, I would like you to stay with me. If only because I hope maybe it could happen again. Maybe that's unfair to you, I don't know. Maybe it's unfair to me. But I would like it.
Oh, and I think Perfidelity goes, Do you want to come down with me? Can I show you what I do down there?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
I do not. I never show anyone, and maybe it is my prerogative.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I am. Yes, we're going to explore down there together.
Yeah, she nods. She understands what an honor it is, and I think she's currently pretty quiet and stoic about this all. But there's definitely a smile. There's definitely a connection here, and she recognizes it. And so she unlocks the basement door, I suppose. And
Yes.
You go in together. And you follow the map. There's so, she guides you in behind where all the things in storage are. A lot of this is probably occupied by Screw Taper Ronin's like junk right now, because that guy has a lot of junk to turn into guns and things. And so you move in behind that, and I think the place you come face to face with is like a big brick wall that is at the back of like a seldom used little supply room, which isn't big enough to store Screwtape Ronin stuff. So it's used, maybe it has like a broom and a couple of buckets in it, like an impromptu little cleaning closet.
Nice. And
yeah.
I think following this map, there's this pattern in the mortar and the cement, and
Yeah.
on the bricks themselves that you trace and tap, and there's one brick that's just out of misalignment, and that's how it slides away.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So you're not breaking down this, you're actually finding the secret door.
Mm.
Yeah. I like it. So the brick wall in this little broom closet that no one has known about for you don't know how long slides away. And the smell that greets you from the other side is a peculiar one, because you smell heat and static and like almost a little bit of ozone. Like there is definitely machinery in here and it is still active. It has been for who knows how long.
Nice.
And Perfidelity turns with just this little glint of excitement. It's cool, right? The things under here. It's pre-fall. It's the originals. This is the future down here. We can return back, and we can use it to forge forward. And yeah, she steps over the threshold.
Yeah. I think Damnou is kind of speechless and follows you. Like she recognizes it too. This is real treasure. And you head inside the dark, and trek for a moment through like probably an extra door, like an added security door, but it was never activated. Like it seems like it could seal tight and like lock, but no one ever locked it. So you slide it aside, and beyond is a room that contains some machines. The first thing you recognize is a computer terminal of some kind of radio computer combination thing that seems to no longer work at first glance. The screens are black and dark. The cables that crisscross the floor don't seem to be actually connected into it. But there is this machine that maybe remembers things, but that is not what draws your attention the most. What draws your attention the most is, amid all of this stuff, this terminal was hooked up to something, and that something is a large and complex, like, metal box with a window in it that looks to be maybe some kind of safe or storage container, and that thing is definitely active. It is humming away. It is still drawing power from some unknown power source down here. What do you do?
Oh, what else am I supposed to do? But I think that Perfidelity is going to step forward, place a hand on the. Oh, take off the gauntlet. So there are these pale burned hands, and touch the tank's door, if there is one, hatch handle, and pull it open. And I would like to handle or examine something interesting. Things speak, please.
Yes. Go ahead and make your move.
That's a 9, so I get to ask one. Then, what's wrong with this, and how might I fix it?
Oh, okay. What's wrong with the tank is nothing. It's operating perfectly according to what it's supposed to do. The only thing that's slightly wrong with it is that this monitoring equipment that was supposed to be hooked up to it has been disconnected, probably to save power, or else by some act of sabotage in the past. So the only thing that's wrong with it is that the monitor isn't hooked up, and you might be able to fix that by plugging it back in, save that the monitor currently doesn't have a power source. So you would have to figure out how to set all of that up. It apparently ran on some kind of separate battery or separate circuit, probably as a safety measure to not have them both on the same thing. And yeah, the monitor and all of this like overwatching equipment is not plugged in. It's non-trivial to plug it in, but you could probably do it if you had some time to figure out what cable goes where and what everything actually does without breaking anything.
Yeah, and I think then that's what Perfidelity does, and goes, Damnou, you know a non-trivial amount about how to use this sort of thing. Just listen to me. I need your help in trying something out. We'll see what this does. What happens here.
What do you need me to do?
Okay, so just follow my lead. Maybe I'll need you to plug things in, move things around, but those wires there need to be connected to that socket there immediately. And then I need to we're looking for a power source, something humming, something, maybe it's green or glowing.
Yeah. She nods, pulls out the cable. So your goal here is your goal to open the container, or is your goal to activate the monitoring equipment? Just to clarify, because I think you can just open the container if that's what you want to do, but...
I think I'd like to activate the monitor first.
Yep. Okay. So, Damnou begins to scramble around for how to do that, and I guess... this doesn't quite feel like a workspace move to figure out how to turn this on, and you did get an answer to it. What are we thinking? What sort of...
I wonder here, and I
Yeah?
think this is interesting, if this is trying something challenging.
Yeah.
Because I don't think this is Act Under Fire. There's no
Yeah.
fire. And the
I
reason
think that's
why
true.
I'm suggesting it is because I've got a -2, and I think it's very funny if I do
Yeah.
something bad here.
Yeah, absolutely. Physical action that might be requires skill or great care, patience or hard work. Yeah, that makes sense. So this takes time, and it involves coordinating with Damnou. And yeah, you're not exactly repairing something, but you are trying to not break it. So I think it fits.
Yeah. Although, because I assume this isn't a workspace, so it's
No.
not a... Yeah, fantastic. Wonderful. -2, and that is, yeah. That is an 8, though, so it does cost me something.
What it will cost you, and decide for yourself whether to go through with it. Okay. All right. So I think you can decide whether or not to go through with it. I think then that the situation is thus. At some point, maybe before this was disconnected, maybe after it was disconnected, some of the, like, you take up some panels off of this big monitoring equipment, look at the back, find something that could credibly be a power source, but it is not well insulated. And it is probably not safe to plug back in. And so whoever plugs this back in is going to take harm. It's like, you could possibly, if you took more time, and you do have time. So the other option is to step back and like come up with some solution to do this with tools. But the straightforward, like pick up this cable and plug it in over there, is like, there will be sparks, there will be possibly a big explosion. The equipment would probably be fine. The person plugging it in might not be.
There's time. And I think no, because Perfidelity wants to spend time with Damnou. More time outside of here. And she takes Damnou and goes, stand behind the thresholds. There will be sparks. I might cry out. Only come in and fetch me if I do not cry out. Okay? And she's going to put her helmet on properly, the gloves, the gauntlets, everything on, and she's going to plug it in.
Beautiful. Okay, I am looking a thing up real quick here, because I'm wondering if it's interesting for this to be harm or psi harm. But I don't remember how psi harm works.
Psi harm is interesting to me, for sure.
Yeah.
It's it's the direct assault and invasion of a hostile psychic force.
It's page 17 of MC.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm in the wrong document. Thank you. So let's see. $17? I'm not seeing it on page 17.
Yeah, so people suffer psi harm from unusual exposure to the world's psychic maelstrom or from other psychic attacks. Is it?
It was 15.
basically
My
it.
apologies.
Yes. Roll your plus your psi minus the psi of the attack. Okay. Yeah, so I think that you are taking, let's call this three psi harm.
Ooh, this is just straight up the whole psychic maelstrom.
Yep.
Then fantastic.
This is assault, but you roll minus your plus
Just
your
to be-
psi minus the psi of the attack. So +2 -3, so a total of -1.
Yeah, I'm not pushing back on it, but I think we should still like make so that everyone understands. Usually psi harm is probably 1, and the world psychic maelstrom itself has like 3 psi harm.
Yeah. This
Okay,
is
good.
This is quite hefty.
Good.
Normally psi harm is 1, but that's if you're being attacked by a person. My reasoning here is that this is obviously a big psychic machine, and you're plugging it straight into the power source, and the power source is what's dealing damage to you. So I think 3 about
Yeah,
fits.
so this is on the level of the psychic maelstrom, is what I want to. Fantastic. That's cool.
Good thing you've got good psi rating.
Mm. So that's a 6.
Oh, that's a miss.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, what happens here is that you are immediately shocked, jolted, and electrocuted. And what Damnou will see is the equivalent of someone taking a big industrial cable that isn't properly insulated and plugging it straight into the power source, i.e., this is like touching a live power main. This is what it looks like from the outside. What you see is the courier. What you see is the woman from your dreams. And then, like, her face appears before you. You see it violently, and you realize that she is in the tank. And after that, you are out of your own control. You come to yourself again a few seconds later, having done you don't know what. So you see a vision of this woman, and then you black out for a little bit. And I think we will cut away there.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
So, PCs survive this a lot better than NPCs, I just noticed, because NPCs take psi harm way worse.
Okay, are we cutting to me or?
Yes, I think let's cut to you.
Okay, unless you've got something immediately lined up, I think I'd like to walk into the bar and roll dangerous presence.
Okay, sure.
I think that just makes sense, right?
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just makes sense. I was just saying that unless something intervenes before I do that.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
And then we'll cut back to Iskandaric after that, I suppose.
Yeah, let's see what my dangerous presence does. +2. That's a 9. Oh, so I get to choose one.
Yep.
I mean, Tree's perfectly happy with me fucking things up over here. But I think the interesting one here is... if I have any enemies here, they freeze and try to make themselves inconspicuous. So it's not like I immediately am threatened with guns pointing at me.
Yeah. Okay. So if you have any enemies here, I wonder, would Screwtape Ronin and his apprentice count as your enemies? Do you think that, like, they don't know you personally, so I'm asking you.
Remind me what their deal was exactly in the tangled web of intrigue we have
Yeah, Screwtape Ronin's deal is like, I am here as a freelancing gunsmith and mercenary. I am here to profit off of trouble and chaos, kind of. Like, I'm here looking for people who want guns, and I don't care about titles. This is why I wonder it could potentially be an enemy, right? Because Screwtape Ronin is just like, I sell guns. You don't have to be a knight to buy them. That's cool.
Was there some connection between him and Revolver Pinata?
There wasn't explicitly one.
Okay.
Like, they were both in the same category of problems to Ahiri, of like people turning up and disrupting the status quo.
Hmm.
And
I think
he
it's
was
interesting.
interested in Ashurdan,
Yeah,
but you know,
Yeah.
he doesn't have an allegiance as such.
I think it's interesting if he sees himself as an enemy.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Because they're not part of the old order. They're definitely not like knights good. Only knights should have guns.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think in that case, I think you see a couple of his apprentices freeze up and make themselves inconspicuous. I don't think that Screwtape himself is the sort of person who shies away. He's a big, very confident man, but you spot him across the bar, like glancing at you uncomfortably. And so the vibe is like his apprentices and his people definitely go like, "Oh shit, a knight," and he glares over at you menacingly, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tar-Minotaur's in a bad mood for reasons we don't need to expand on. I
Mhm.
think, and I think she sees this and kind of like looks at Screwtape Ronin
Mhm.
and just kind of like looks him straight in the eye,
Yep.
well, through her visor, and just to
Mhm.
see what he does if I just look at him.
Okay, would you like to read him, or do you just want a reaction?
Now let's read this guy.
Mhm.
I know he's my enemy. Like he's giving enemy vibes, right?
Yeah.
So let's see what's up with this guy.
Mhm.
Because I don't think I know this person, right? He showed up while
Yeah.
I was busy with other things.
Yep.
Elsewhere. Mhm. That's a 7. So I get that's 2. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. What is this person thinking of doing? And how can I tell?
Okay, yeah, what he is thinking of doing and how you can tell. I think what he is thinking of doing at the moment is... I think his immediate plan is not to do anything rash, but to pull back and like have a talk with his people and his apprentices about how to exploit this opportunity. Like, I think he considers you an enemy, but he's not, you know, the kind of person who deals with his enemies by trying to destroy them. He's the kind of person who deals with his enemies by trying to turn them to his advantage.
Nice. Okay.
He doesn't know how to do that yet, but he thinks about doing it. And I think you can tell because he, like, a couple of his more hot-headed apprentices, I guess, have the vibe of like they want to go up and talk to you and maybe try to sell you guns. And he goes like, gives him a little head nod, grunts, calls them back. Goes like, no, we need to have a huddle first.
And how is he vulnerable to me?
He is
I don't
vulnerable.
think I've used that before. I don't like it.
He is vulnerable to you in exactly the same way, I think. You see here a rogue of a man who doesn't respect the knights, who has zero respect for your station, but who is sharp enough to tell that you are really fucking dangerous in battle. And so the vulnerability isn't exactly that you can just straight up kill him. I mean, you can, but that applies to almost everyone.
Yes.
The vulnerability is that he would really like someone like you on his side.
Interesting.
And if he could turn you into an asset, he'd be very happy with that.
Okay.
But this is a mercenary. He has no respect for knights. So it would be purely in your role as a warrior, not as a knight, that he would want you on his side.
Interesting. I think Tar-Minotaur in her bloody-minded mood is going to... Is this a place that does like table service, or do you have to go to the bar?
There is table service. We have established this, although the table service is generally a bit bad, and going to the bar is a better idea. But
yeah, but I think when Tar-Minotaur shows up to a place, people notice that Tar-Minotaur is in the place, unlike other places. Yeah. Other people, I mean. So I think Tar-Minotaur is going to get up and walk very obviously over to Screwtape Ronin and kind of like sit down in front of him. Well, actually say, may I sit? And then immediately sits down.
Yeah.
And then probably like beckons the waiter over.
Yeah. And I think the waiter comes over. Screwtape Ronin makes absolutely no move other than to like grunt at you as you ask the question. But his apprentices like clear out, and they don't clear out in the sense that they vanish. They like get up from their seats and move in to be behind him, to sort of visually back him up, but also not be between you and him in any way.
Yeah, I see. 2 of that, pointing at his half-empty glass. Well, almost empty glass.
Yeah.
And then I say, and a meal.
Yep. It will be served by one of Ahiri's employees. I guess.
Drinks first, I
Yeah.
say. Mhm.
Mhm. I guess it is the timid person that we have seen before. Let me look up
Yeah.
their name.
Mhm. Vasant? Or no, it's something else.
June.
Karuni is the
June.
most trust.
June was the one I was thinking about, the unreliable one.
Okay.
Person
So
we've
many
seen.
people here. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
So
Okay.
June serves up your drinks and your food, and yeah, I think this is really like a Wild West cowboy staring at each other situation where Screwtape again like nods a little bit in like recognition and thanks for the drink, but otherwise just kind of maintains eye contact and a stern stoic expression.
I see. I introduce myself to you as Tar-Minotaur and Perfidelity of Lance Drakar of the Order of the Worm, which, by the way, is the third time I've said that this session.
Yeah. And he takes this in with like a, you have titles, good. He nods and he goes, I'm Screwtape Ronan.
You have that about you which makes me conclude that you sell weapons.
I do. Yeah, he says. And I think this is somewhat obvious in the sense that like all of his people are armed, just as a way of advertising the wares.
Yeah, he gives me arms dealer vibes.
Yeah.
I think I didn't say. It is a pregnant moment in the valley. The future is being born. Who do you supply your weapons to?
As of yet, I don't rightly know. I'm working on it.
You are working on it. Have you had overtures made to you?
Yep.
I would ask you to name them.
Well, the name has been going around everywhere here. Is Pinata trying to buy everything and everyone. That's the first. A couple of others. And I think he lists some other names, but I think,
Minor
Asher
names.
Dunn has been using Revolver Pinata as the economic arm of what he's doing, and Asher Dunn is clearly the person making moves right now, so he would be the interesting person being mentioned.
You are an informed man. You must be aware that Revolver Pinata is already dead. And you must already be aware when I mentioned my name that I am the one who has killed him.
That's so, he says with a nod, like neither confirming nor denying whether he's heard it already, but going like, okay, I believe you.
Yeah. And then I kind of like lean back and then I say, there is indeed need for weapons in the valley. For the side of good, the side of chaos and disorder. It is in my interest to see that those who deserve weapons have them. For what is coming.
Yeah. He listens. He goes, you saying there's just two sides? Seems simple.
Two sides is complicated enough. If it were indeed not... Actually, no, let me double back. I think Terminator... You can almost... Terminator probably be smiling a tiny... Oh, no, we're having drinks. Okay, helmets off.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, helmets off. I think Terminator gives that tiny little smile again and says... If it were indeed so simple, then why do people not join the side of good? Two sides is complicated enough. I enjoyed saying that, by the way. That's an insane view of morality.
Yeah. He
What about the secret third side?
Yeah. No. I think he takes a long swig of his drink and he goes, all right, I'm listening. And he is vulnerable to you in this way, so you have his attention. You saying you can be... You saying if I say I'm on the good side, you're on my side? Okay, that sounds profitable. This is entirely how he reasons. But
yeah, I say I am well armed at the moment, but I suspect that I will have need for more weapons, reliable ammunition, new kinds of tools. I am allied with a new player, one you have heard of, who now controls the Tower of St. Fulmina. She also requires weapons, arms, ammunition. She has exotic weapons, but you can supply ammunition for them. You can supply new supplies, new ordinances. You can do these things for myself and my ally, and those whom I shall rouse to see who are the ones who are on the side of good. And they shall need weapons as well. I cannot give you custom immediately. I am, however, a serious woman. I do not speak lightly. Weapons I shall require from you, and weapons I require you to give to me. And for now, I require you to have a moratorium on weapons to others.
Okay.
That's the important bit. Yep.
Yeah. I think we're in reason with someone territory.
Yeah, I think so.
You're proposing a business deal where he has to invest quite a lot up front, but where there's potentially great profit in allying with not just you, but you threw Iskandaric in as well, which I think makes this a kind of a sweet deal, right? So
yeah. It's more like, hey, I want exclusive rights to all your weapons later. I don't need them now, but I want them later. And but right now, you stop selling to anyone else.
Yep.
Which is not super fair, but like, well, let's see.
Yeah, it's not, it's profit later, possibly. So it's not an unreasonable argument, at least.
Yeah. So guys, let's see. Oh, that's 7.
I was going to say I back your play.
Okay.
But maybe instead of like a +1, there could be something else to it.
Yeah, go ahead and back the play. We can absolutely put in something else. I think if you choose +1 option, I will give you 2 possible counter proposals then, since it's a 7 to 9.
Yes, I think then I'm backing your play because you have a prosthetic I made. And we said last time I backed a play against Screwtape Ronin, it was about Perfidelity's mark here. And you've just walked in bearing another mark of my make. I think there's gear cutters love to see the competition.
Yeah, lovely.
Oh, in fact, probably let's slightly retcon the things I said before to also throw in a reference to you, right?
Yep.
A direct one. I think that makes sense as well.
Okay.
And then, of course, makes it all explicit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Very good.
So it's a 10. It comes at no cost to Perfidelity. Interesting. Yeah. So I think he then says, what makes sense to throw in as Perfidelity's backed play here is he looks at he listens to your mentioning Perfidelity, looks at your equipment of her make and so on, and he goes, "You're saying your squire made that? Interesting. Yeah. Maybe there's something to this. Maybe we can join forces, but you're gonna need more than weapons, my friend. I need to make sure that this is an alliance that makes sense." And he leans forward and goes, "I'll agree not to sell nothing. I can supply myself for a while. That's fine. But you want me as an ally? I want to see that workspace. I want to see what you can do." And I think this is how the help gives you a possible counter proposal. Now you do get 2, so you can turn down this offer and listen to another one because Perfidelity assisted, but he's presenting this first.
I think what I say is, my squire is my squire and sworn to my service. But my squire is not my sword. My squire is a person. Her workspace is her own. You ask that of me, which I cannot promise you. And thus,
well, I'm not in a hurry.
Yeah,
you put me in touch with her. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I think Charmander would finish and just say, If that is your primary wish, I can speak to her and see if it can be arranged. What else could I do for you instead?
Yeah, makes sense.
Is it
He
fair?
goes, yeah, it makes sense. He goes like, yeah, well, put me in touch with her. I'd be interested. As for what else, he leans back with a little grin and he goes, well, it's quite simple. I've got Ahiri here helping me set up shop somewhere, but kind of like it here. I wouldn't mind staying. And so I'm giving you two counter proposals, both of which are troubling. Either Perfidelity or Ahiri, because I think that's the funny outcome. So either I set up my workshop here, or I get to hang out in Perfidelity's workshop for a bit and learn from her. Both of these are good with me.
I think.
Considering how much trouble Tree went through to
Yeah.
keep him away from.
Yes.
I think Parameter just says, yet again, something that I cannot promise you. But it is more palatable to me to ask a friend for a favor than to intrude upon my squire's privacy.
Yeah, he nods. He goes, well, don't have to be here, but I haven't found a place that's that good, so you got somewhere else, I'd be open to it. He says with like a non-committal shrug, because I think that makes sense in character, but I also don't think that you can just find a place that's as nice as Ikari's Regret for him, because Ikari's Regret's really nice. So
yeah, it's all good. I have two options, which is nice. I like this.
Yep.
Nice. Okay. Then I think Terminator is going to nod and say, very well, Screwtape Ronin, we have potentially an alliance. You will excuse me if I have my lunch alone.
Yeah, I will. Probably more comfortable that way. And he gives a little chuckle. And I think so. What he agrees to do for now, just to be clear here, is he can agree to like hold off on selling anyone else weapons for a little while because he's not unreasonable. It'll take you time to arrange this, but if you don't come up with anything with any tangible proof that you're worth allying with, then he'll probably, knowing Screwtape, you read him perfectly. Probably what he would do is just start selling things under the table anyway, eventually, and just
makes
not
sense.
tell you about it. So
yeah, makes sense. And then I might have to kill him, but I think this is reasonable. We're two reasonable people. We worked for something reasonable. Good.
Yep.
And I can't wait to see if while I eat my dinner, Perfidelity does something insane that I have to go intervene in. But we can see.
I am wondering though if we should cut back to Iskandaric for a moment, because I am curious. Yeah, because I am curious, Iskandaric, what is your short-term plan for getting to safety with your goods and with your injured self? Is it drive back to the tower? Is it make camp somewhere? Like,
we do have medicine on hand, right? Like I can not die. Yeah.
You still have a lot of loot and medicine, and your people can probably patch you up. But I think it will still require like somewhat making camp somewhere. So is the plan that you just confidently make camp here and trust that the people you shot up won't return? Do you like go hide in the woods?
I think depending on how hard it'll be to get back to the tower, that might be the best course of action, right? We've got an actual doctor there, and also someone who might know what's up with these weird shells.
Yeah. All right. So you're driving back to the tower, and you're, presumably like, provisionally binding up the wound to not bleed out on the spot, but you're not going. You're not having anyone do field surgery on you. You're like, Angelica can get the bullet out. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're heading back to the tower, rolling up your team, rolling out with all the goods. I think that this is a move because you are trying to get back. Like, the question is, do we call this try something challenging or act under fire? I think maybe this is act under fire again, possibly. Or do we have any input here?
What I'm thinking, act under fire. Okay, when you act under fire, sit your guns, hold it together under stress. I guess, because essentially we're trying to not get into any more trouble.
Yeah, you're trying to
while-
not get any more trouble. And what I'm also aiming at is trying to lead your gang and confidently be like, no, we can get back while having kind of severe blood loss.
If you're and try something challenging, if you're trying to do something challenging, a physical action that might be beyond you. So I think try something challenging is more physically exerting myself. Where act under fire is. Just.
I'll let you decide. I think which is this is harder for you physically or mentally.
I think act under fire is stuff that you can do without the fire being there, right?
Yeah.
And the fire here is that you are bleeding out and you know in the active process of dying right now. And it's getting back before you bleed out and die because you are at 10 o'clock calm. And that is 2 until you die and it gets worse with time. And it takes time to get to the tower.
Yeah, for now, I think definitely act under fire. On page 3 of the PDF, the player ref sheet, there's some explanation of the difference, but we can look at that later.
Yeah. Act under fire sounds good then.
Cool. Hang on.
That makes sense. So you're all with cool.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't do it, guys. Goodbye.
Okay. So what happens here then is not simply you die. It's not very interesting. It's not that life becomes untenable. What happens is, I think you realize that you are not going to make it back to the tower. Rather, your people realize, and let's have it be logistic because he's the person you've been talking to. So I think you're driving back and you like slump down, and your vehicle like begins to swerve. And logistic sees this and like they're not trying to be unsubordinate. They've been very good at like dealing with this, but they can see that you are not driving safely. And I think logistic like raises a hand. And you have an interesting choice here, I think. There's 2 ways this can go. You can try to keep a brave face, in which case you are not going to show weakness, but you are going to fall off your quad bike. You will survive this, but you'll get even worse fucked up. On the plus side, you'll look cool. Or you can actually be like, logistic has a point. We need to stop. Like, I need to get some medicine in me here and now and be unconscious. Like you're going to fall unconscious either way. You get what I mean? The question is just, is it in Lady Iskandaric's nature to just press on until you pass out by yourself? Or is it in your nature to actually stop and go like, okay, no, sedate me?
I think it is in Lady Iskandaric's nature to, at this point, stop and say, okay, sedate me, because I don't think she thinks that passing out and falling off the vehicle would instill a great deal of confidence.
No. So how does that look? Because I think it's interesting you stopping and realizing that, you know, you need... You won't get back to Angelica. It's not that you won't... So to clarify, it's just that you are falling unconscious, right? So someone will need to like sedate you, put you up on their bike, drive you back, because you can't drive on your own anymore.
Yeah. I think, she just signals to stop and... It seems like Logistic has quickly become the most reliable member of this gang, and it's probably why they are the quartermaster. Anyway. I think she'll say to him first that, nah, you're right. This we need to stop.
Yeah.
But okay, who do I have here who's best equipped to like actually administer this?
Yeah, that's a good question. They'll still need to get you back to Angelica. This is more a matter of like sedating you, keeping you unconscious but alive until you can get there. So,
because entirely, I mean, I don't think I have an actual medical person here, so I think I think it's gonna be like between me and Logistic to just. So I want to tell Logistic, okay, tell the men to just make camp for a bit. We've been on the road for all of us have been on the road for a long time. I think like we've got enough ground between us and them to make a little pit stop here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's basically the angle. Like, okay, we're all taking a rest, and tell them to like take a breather as well. And while this is going on,
Yeah. So you take a pit stop, and while this is going on,
so to make it more like the team is taking a rest, and during this, Iskandaric can administer the medicine to, I guess, herself the best she can, because there's someone else. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So your plan is to like open up your shirt, see the bloodied wound, like bandage it up as best you can, and then be like, take whatever shots you have to keep yourself alive, and then pass out.
Yeah. This. I think that's exactly it. Like, she does like sews it up the best she can.
Yeah.
Right. That's not very good. I don't think it's even bandages, right? She's just taking like some, like whatever, like shirt or whatever she has, just tying it tightly around there, and then just takes a syringe of presumably anesthesia or whatever, before she did this, she took a syringe of local anesthesia, not even local. She doesn't know how this works, and I think the anesthesia slowly, like she's like, oh, okay, it's getting a bit drowsy, and she just goes, just gotta close my eyes for a bit.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And then I think you swim in and out of consciousness, and we are reaching the end of the session. I think we're reaching an interesting point to wrap up on. So your consciousness blurs and shifts, and you swim in and out of it, and there is this montage, right, of seeing like the tower for a moment, of seeing Angelica's face, of mostly blurry and unconscious, delirious state. But then what you see is, returning to the tower, hovering in the air above you, as you are laid down on like the ground for emergency medical treatment. You look up at the tower itself, and you see Knight President Cassador Sicari falling from the tower, coming towards you. And in this vision you have, the Knight President falls and slams into your body with full force. And then her voice is in your head. Is everyone happy with the cliffhanger here?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm happy with it.
It also gives me a moment to think of crazy things that can happen to Perfidelity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's call the session there.
It's very important to call the session so that we can think of the most crazy thing possible.
Yes, exactly. I'm glad we understand each other. So, thank you very much for listening to this. This session went some places. Thank you for listening.
You've been listening to Desperate Attune Season 3, called No Anthem. I've been your host, Holly. With me have also been Zoheb, Aadiyat, Salty, and Tree. If you'd like to support our show, you can do so at patreon.com/desperateattune, which will give you access to our Discord and also give you access to our episodes 1 week early. If you'd prefer a one-time donation, you can do so at ko-fi.com/desperateattune, or you can buy our book Sunmirror at desperateattune.itch.io. The intro music is Steady Now by Waterflame, and the outro music is Ready Now, also by Waterflame. Our logo design is by Fahim Anzum Rumman. Thank you for listening to Desperate Attune, and we hope to see you again next episode.